Calling all Site-42 and further SCP Foundation staff. Calling all Site-42 and further SCP Foundation staff. This is Dr. Theron Sherman. We are digitizing our signal. We are reticulating our splines. Please let us know in the chat if you can hear us. Let us know we are anomalously broadcasting from Site-42 successfully. If you're in the chat, make sure to... Oh, wow, we got a... That person is not going to stay in the chat. That is uncomfortable. Don't need that, nope. Chat, let us know if you hear us. We'll take care of that chat issue in the meantime. While we're waiting for chat to confirm our signal is broadcasting, make sure to like, share, subscribe to Site-42 using your Foundation-issued encrypted YouTube account. That is right, doing so on your civilian YouTube account is a jeopardy to the veil. We do not want to break the masquerade, not today. Not like last week when we had to enact the ennui protocol. Thanks to Steve. Steve. Digitizing our signal, microphone check. The chat's not saying they can hear us. That's always a little worrying. Do I need to check on YouTube to make sure? Heading over to YouTube front-facing now and seeing if I can hear myself in the chat. Oh no, I'm going down the rabbit hole of watching myself live, watching myself live, watching myself live, watching myself live, watching myself live. Okay, Demon Queen, thank you for the super chat to tell me that I am audible. I do not need to check this anymore. We are going now, 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 now. Oh, put that away. Hello, Site-42 fam. This is Dr. Theron Sherman, but you can call me Sherm. My wonderful co-host, Billith. Welcome to another anomalous broadcast from Site-42.
Happy to be here.
13 of reading, or not week 13, show 13 of reading the SCP-7000 contest entries. Every single one of them.
13's a lucky number, too, if I remember correctly.
It is the one I always picked, because I was a very contrary child.
Yeah.
And so why for 13 shows have Billith and I been going through every single 7000 entry? Well, it's because of our dear, dear friend, Dr. Cimmerian, who attempted murder by tree was only thwarted by luck itself, the contest theme. It's almost like it all worked out for reasons.
And I'm actually starting to believe that Cimmerian and the trees had a long-standing feud. I remember many times when I've asked Cimmerian for help with an issue, and he would tell me, burn your neighbor's house down, or burn your house down. And the only way I think that would work is if there was wood involved. Wood comes from trees. It's not too hard to connect the dots.
Oh, it's been in front of our faces the whole time. The whole time!
My room is covered in yarn and pinned to the walls, but that's just my cats. It's unrelated.
And it looks like the reason I couldn't get word from the chat is because the chat is broken. At least in my stream, I've got now an empty chat.
I see chat just fine. Yep, chat's great over here.
You are a representative for chat. Apparently I'm flying blind tonight.
Hello, chat. How are you today?
Billith is not an elected representative of the chat, but he will be representing you regardless.
I think you and I would both agree, given I dictate your votes, that you would all vote for me.
The Billithocracy has begun.
We get tote bags.
It's really unnerving to see an empty chat. I'm like worried about what's going on out there.
How about try like refreshing your page?
You know what? I could do that. That would... See, this is what you're here for, man. You're the brains of the operation. in the midst of our tech issues, we're still trying to get Cimmerian up to 777% of that goal. So if you want to go donate to Cimmerian and help insulate his ceiling with dollar bills, help make a dollar bill mattress, help round up all the trees.
And if you're doing that, can you take an extra step and just like multiply? You still need to figure out how much 7,777% or 7,000% even would be nice. You know, we're not asking for too much, but if you could bring us like a rough, you know, the resulting 5,000, 4,000 times 7,000 or 4,000 times 7,777, be great. We don't do math over here. Math is for nerds.
Just don't do math. Also, hallelujah, I am happy to say that refreshing it, turning it off and on again, did bring back the chat. Thank you both, Billith and Nikki, for your suggestions. Lot One, good to see you in the chat. Before our reading, let me put out the ad since these guys are here. Did you all check out episode 4 of Redacted, the Islamic Republic of Samothrace? Or sorry, Eastern Samothrace. Because these episodes keep getting better, man. I'm digging it.
Yeah, do it. I haven't caught up, but I started them and they are good.
Yeah, where's that good still
stuff.
frame of the poster? There we are. That's what I wanted the still frame to be. Boom. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Load, you bastard. Yes, Samothrace. They took a really, really interesting framing device with this one. And so last week they did really good on the horror aspect. This time they approached it from an angle I wouldn't have suggested, or I wouldn't have expected. But it worked really well, so go check out the show. But in the meantime, the opening ad break is complete. Why don't we get to what we're really here for?
Oh, yeah.
The SCP-7000 entries.
Reading some articles, maybe. What are we on next?
We are starting at SCP-7290 by Werilium.
Ooh. Recognize that name.
And it means we get to start today with a nice short one.
Oh, you know what? Don't worry. I'll take this one.
Oh,
I'll take this one.
You generous soul.
I know how much you like the longer ones, and you know you always say, "Oh, I'll take the first one. I'll take the first one."
I got it all centered for you. It's ready for you, my friend. Take it away.
SCP-7290. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Until a method of physically containing SCP-7290 can be devised, hidden sensor arrays are to monitor for SCP-7290 manifestations. Local personnel are to deploy amnestics to SCP-7290-A and any witnesses, and clean the area if needed. Description: SCP-7290 are 9-meter-long, translucent, spectral appendages resembling distended human hands with 6 fingers. SCP-7290 appear next to ammunition stores and factories at unpredictable intervals during the night, abducting a lone human, hereafter referred to as SCP-7290-A, before ascending and disappearing. SCP-7290-A returns alone after a period between 52 seconds and 4 minutes and immediately falls to the ground. In approximately 80% of cases, SCP-7290-A is recovered with only dizziness and minor injuries from the fall. All instances report the sensation of having been placed within a cold, dark metal tube by SCP-7290 and spun rapidly. Some instances also report mechanical clinking noises, distant, incoherent voices, and the odor of alcohol. In the remaining cases, SCP-7290-A abruptly manifests in a severely mangled state, accompanied by a loud gunshot sound and several hundred liters of non-humanoid viscera and bone. Traces of gunshot residue are also identified. One unique case resulted in an unarmed SCP-7290-A instance, despite a gunshot occurring in its vicinity. However, the gunshot had a significantly lower volume. Upon debriefing, the instance claimed to briefly glimpse a large spectral humanoids briefly glimpse large spectral humanoids after its removal from the metal table. These humanoids, whose sizes and description are consistent with SCP-7290, allegedly vocalized and discarded a metallic handheld object. I will say it's evocative. Very good imagery. Are they being fired out of a gun?
Yeah, human bullets are in the inside of the bullets. I'm trying to denote exactly the mystery behind like what.
It's like God's playing Russian roulette or something, right?
Okay, I didn't think of that way. My first thought went to drunk ghost gods at like the shooting range or something. But then, or maybe hunting once Viscera showed up. But yeah, I like your Russian roulette idea.
It's definitely up for interpretation, but either way, I'm gonna give that an upvote. I mean, that's short form. It's a really well done short form. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see, spoilers. Here we go. Hey, I was right.
Got him.
People are a bullet for a big game of Russian roulette. Feeling lucky, punk? All right.
Sweet.
If I could like say anything about it, it's just that like it's relatively simplistic of a concept and it's done well, but I would have loved to see like one of them never reappeared, and then like a giant whatever fell from the sky or something, like, I don't know, something to imply that a god died via the Russian roulette.
Severely mangled state, loud gunshot. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, but otherwise, very good.
Yeah, gets the job done. You tells its story with just enough to make you think about it for a second, and then, smack your head. It makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. William, thank you for the story.
Very cool.
And Nice Demon Queen, thank you for the second super chat when the chat was live, and also for donating to Cimmerian's fund. Thank you again. And now we're going to SCP-79. Oh, what was the name of that one?
Oh, that's a great question. Let's see, 7290. It is 7290 is Bullet Hell by William.
Bullet Hair, I like that.
Bullet Hell. Just like the genre.
Exactly.
Nice.
And so while you're on the title, what is the title for SCP-7974 by Rolution?
7974 is TTRP Ghost. One word.
TTRP Ghost. A 20-sided die, or D20, grading 22, roll dice. And we have 20 options.
Oh, well, let me just preemptively look and see the page source here. Okay, there's only 8 possible fragments. I'm guessing that we're going to do this a couple times. We might not get to all of them anyway, but we'll see how they are.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want me to do one?
Say that again?
Do you want me to do the next one?
Yeah, take it away. I'm going to look at the chat and the stream because it seems to be dropping frames.
Oh, yeah. Definitely do that. All right, we're rolling this die and we're getting a 16. Not bad. 16. Notice. This is a fragment page. I'm not going to read this part. Okay. Item number, SCP-7974. Object class, Euclid. Special containment procedures. SCP-7974 is to be held in the office of Ian Vance, former senior researcher at Site-74. Salt barriers, protective sigils, and banishment wards shall be implemented at the discretion of the current site director. Testing is no longer permitted outside of, quote, game session events. Game session events must happen at least once a week and elapse for a strict 4 to 6 hour window of play. Currently, access to SCP-7974 is limited to Site Director Israel Ray, Dr. Savannah Clemens, and junior researchers Tony McKay and Andre Merritt, 2 of whom must be present during any game session event. In the event these staff members are unavailable for any reason, replacements are to be elected immediately. Revision, October 2nd, 2021. Israel Ray's additional access to SCP-7974 has been reduced from 4 hours per week to 1 hour per week. See Addendum 7 for more details. Description: SCP-7974 is a semi-translucent supernatural entity believed to be the spirit of former senior researcher Ian Vance, who was killed in a containment breach 8 months prior to his first documented sighting. Killed in a breach 8 months prior to the first documented sighting of SCP-7974. See Addendum 3 for more details. SCP-7974 has been shown to recreate the moments of its death at irregular intervals. These events have been shown to last no longer than 15 minutes and occur at the area between the former office of Ian Vance and the newly constructed hallway to the northern wing of Site-74. Any personnel in the direct path between the 2 locations during an SCP-7974 bludgeoning event will suffer intense blunt force trauma, resulting in their death. Injury patterns have been shown to be unique to the space the victim is occupying between the 2 locations, indicating that the 2 victims standing in the same location during 2 separate events will result in nearly identical injuries sustained, with variations to be expected in regards to muscle mass and body type. This was later confirmed via D-class testing. Due to the layout of the northern wing entrance, bludgeoning events are able to be witnessed by outside observers, but a consistent safe zone has yet to be discovered. Camera and audio equipment within range during a bludgeoning event will likely fail, producing static, warping images, or shutting off completely. As has been noted with previous paranormal abilities, inconsistent battery life has been noted during any SCP-7974 activity. Addendum 1, Discovery. On January 16, 2021, reports of moving objects and, quote, ghostly apparitions were received by Site Director Ray. These ghost sightings occurred between the office of Ian Vance and the northern wing of Site-74, which was destroyed in the previous containment breach. MTF-59, Greater Good. Greater Ghost. Ooh, Greater Ghost. I like it. Was sent to investigate during non-operational hours. Addendum 2. Initial investigation event summary. Event overview. 4 members of MTF-59, hereby referred to as Ghost 1, Ghost 2, Ghost 3, and Ghost 4, footnote, a trained spiritual medium, arrive at Site-74 at 2:45 a.m. on January 23rd, 2021. This event summary has been compiled using the surviving body cam footage along with the testimony of the remaining members of MTF-59. So are there any... Okay, no actual conversation. Beginning log. At 3 hours, 0 minutes, 12 seconds. Door is unlocked by Site Director Ray. MTF-59 enters and begins preparing their ghost hunting equipment. Yeah. At 3 hours, 0 minutes, and 45 seconds, Site Director Ray locks the doors of Site-74 before entering a nearby security van to watch Site-74 cameras and to keep contact over a handheld radio transceiver. 3 hours, 10 minutes, 12 seconds. Investigation officially begins outside of Ian Vance's former office. Ghost 4 senses minor spirit activity. Spirit box and EMF reader remain silent. This is giving me very big C is for Closers vibes in the anthology series. Very similar. Okay. 3 hours, 12 minutes, 24 seconds. Office door is approached and opened. MTF-59 enters. Ghost 4 states that she feels a, quote, much stronger ghost presence. 3 hours, 12 minutes, 42 seconds. EMF reader flashes once before becoming inactive. Ghost 2 says an expletive and goes to replace the batteries. 3 hours, 13 minutes, 4 seconds. The office door is slammed open and loud footsteps can be heard. This sudden noise causes Ghost 2 to drop both the EMF reader and the batteries, which roll under the desk. Ghost 1, 3, and 4 rush out of the office. Security camera footage begins to distort, but the image is still mostly visible. At 3 hours, 13 minutes, and 24 seconds, Director Ray attempts to contact with no avail. Ghost 1 and 3 begin to follow a, quote, ghostly apparition as Ghost 4 activates anomalous item 13 to work as a minor protective charm. She begins to ask questions as she walks forward. At 3 hours, 15 minutes, and 16 seconds, the camera facing the entrance to the northern wing of Site-74 reactivates, showing Ghost 1 and Ghost 3 stopped and catching their breath. Ghost 3 pulls out a thermal camera and begins to search the reconstructed hallway. At 3 hours, 16 minutes, and 2 seconds, Ghost 4 catches up with Ghost 1 and 3, located approximately 30 feet down the hallway. The camera then begins to distort, causing the image over the hallway to become obfuscated. At 3 hours and 16 minutes, 15 seconds, Ghost 4 hears loud series of cracks before turning to see Ghost 3 fall to the floor in a pile of blood. Let's see. There's a footnote, and it says, later examination would prove the cause of death to be blunt force trauma, similar to those caught under rubble during natural disasters. Interesting. Ghost 1 turns to run back towards Ghost 4, but his leg is violently crushed underneath him, causing him to fall on his walkie-talkie. Dr. Israel Ray is able to hear screaming along with several heavy cracks before the walkie-talkie is presumably crushed. Ghost 1 is not visible on camera, but blood splatter is able to be made out before the image turns off. At 3 hours, 16 minutes, 20 seconds, Ghost 4 has now begun chanting and slowly backing away. Ghost 2 arrives and begins chanting with her. Footnote. The chant has been identified as a minor banishment charm to subdue entities for a short amount of time. 3 hours, 16 minutes, 34 seconds. Ghost 4 begins to scream as her arm is crushed, causing her to drop anomalous item 13. At 3 hours, 16 minutes, 58 seconds, the chant finishes and a loud slam is heard. Ghost 4 falls to the ground in shock, rapidly losing blood from her crushed appendage. At 3 hours, 20 minutes, and 5 seconds, Dr. Israel Ray unlocks the door for Ghost 2 and 4 as they are both taken to receive medical treatment. End log. Event outcome. During event 7974-1, the reopening of the northern wing was postponed indefinitely. Administrative work happening near or around the former office of Ian Vance was to be relocated, and all Euclid-class anomalous objects were to be relocated off-site if possible. Addendum 3. Statement from Ghost 4, Imogen Calloway. I don't believe the entity is what bonded at this, the entity that is bonded to Site 47, Site 74 is completely lucid. Our assumption was correct. This seems to be the revenant of Ian Vance recreating the events that led to its death. Although I felt his presence was the strongest in his office due to Joshua's survival, footnote, Ghost 2, I would venture to say that Vance's office is probably the safest location during one of those events. I believe, for the sake of those involved, any further form of communication with SCP-7974 should be conducted in that office. Addendum 4. Post-bludgeoning event 7974-1 and email. Following the confirmation that SCP-7974 was the spirit of Ian Vance, Site Director Ray requested a temporary 2-week leave, which was approved. He returned early after 2 days once receiving this email from S. Clemens, I was going to say SC Lemons, S. Clemens at scp.int to I. Ray at scp.int. Subject, SCP-7974. Israel, I know how fucked he is. We haven't spoken since the service, and now Ian's some sort of entity that just will unknowingly crush people to death. I know what the consensus is on it, and he isn't consciously doing it. but I can't just believe he's totally gone. You know, and all that's left of him is the worst moment of his life happening over and over. I know it's a stretch, but do you remember when we stopped playing, when you officially called it off? The beginning of last year, right after your promotion, back in January. It's a long shot, but I think I know a way that we can make contact. Addendum 5. Interaction with SCP-7974, quote, first session. Event overview. With advice from the remaining members of MTF-59, Site Director Israel Ray, Dr. Savannah Clemens, and junior researchers Tony McCrae and Andre Merritt, prepare to run a Dungeons & Dragons game in the office housing SCP-7974. This is to be a continuation of a previous at-home game they've been running from May 2019 to January 2020. Dr. Clemens played Trovetta, McKay as Elzin, Merritt as Kezit, and Ray as Dungeon Master, along with playing Vance's character. Dungeon Master playing another person's character too? Let's see. The character's name is Tuscan when necessary. Full character sheets can be found in document 7974-1. All right. So do you want to take Ray, and then I'll take everyone else, because it seems like Ray has the most.
All right, I'll take Ray.
All right. So you're kind of quiet to me, but I think that you might be fine. All right. Beginning log. Unnecessary dialogue has been removed for brevity. Well, I think it would be easier to take him out if you could spare one of your magic items.
Alabaster raises an eyebrow. Go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
Clemens rolls dice and grimaces as she sees the result. 12.
No, definitely not. These weapons are fairly heirlooms. I'm sorry, I can't part with them.
Do you think Tuscan would try to intimidate here? Ray looks at Vance's empty slot, considering.
Yeah, I think he might.
He pauses, staring at Vance's dice. Vance's dice began to move slightly, but are unable to do a full roll. Ray nods.
All right, buddy. I gotcha.
He rolls Vance's dice. Roll outcome, 11.
Oh, okay. That's, 14 total with your modifiers. Alabaster chuckles and says, nice try. If you and your friends are so worried, I can offer you a health potion at, let's say, half off.
End log. Addendum 6. Review of the following 42 game session events.
Woo!
Hey, 42. Woo! Support the channel. Sub to Site 42. Anyway. After the first game night event, no spectral sightings were reported or caught on film. This would continue until session 8, during the game, when Tony McKay missed his session for, quote, unspecified reasons. Footnote. It was later discovered that he was absent in order to see a movie premiere with his girlfriend at the same night. SCP-7974 did not make contact during that game. Israel Ray tried to continue the game but ended early, due to it, quote, not feeling the same. It should be noted that the following week, SCP-7974 activity was reported between the office and the Northern Wing hallway, resulting in the death of one junior researcher. Session 9 proceeded as normal, and SCP-7974 out of the game activity again ceased. Experimenting with subbing in new players was proven to be successful in Session 12, when Andre Merritt was out sick. As these game sessions continued, SCP-7974 began to gain more competence in these sessions, being able to roll its dice on its own, and as of Session 22, SCP-7974 became able to communicate through a spirit box. Communication has been rudimentary and simple, but noticeable progression in the language used has been noted. Addendum 7. Downtime incident. Previously, Israel Ray had been granted 4 additional hours of access to Site SCP-7974 for game prep. In the weeks following Session 22, a lack of efficient administrative work and significant clerical errors were noted. Footnote. Including the late approval on containment procedures, simple spelling and grammatical errors when updating entries, and including the stats for a D&D 5th edition beholder in the documents of SCP Redacted. As reported by Site-74 personnel, Ray spent an increasing amount of time in his office and was less focused on conversations around work. Site-74 head of Eternal Affairs confirmed that Israel Ray was prepping for game session events during his work hours, thus using his additional SCP-7974 access to communicate freely with it. When confronted with this, Ray displayed anger and denied the accusation. Israel Ray was placed on a 2-week administrative leave as a disciplinary measure, only being allowed back on the site for game session events. Following this, additional time with SCP-7974 was limited to 1 hour or before or after sessions. Addendum 8, most recent game session. Forward. This game session proceeded with the reveal of the BBEG's evil plan that the party must stop in order to save the world. Site director Israel Ray had previously intended for this to be the climax of the campaign. The current session began with a comment encounter to keep Zothgod, the demon lich, from grabbing an item called the Sphere of Annihilation. Currently, Elzin and Kezd had been reduced to 0 HP, rendering both characters unconscious, and McKay and Merritt unable to help in combat. Begin log. Unnecessary dialogue has been removed for brevity. I have a 4th level slot to cast Aura of Life, but I won't go until after this turn. It'll be too late. How does he look?
He's looking pretty rough, but he's just healed a few rounds around, so it's doubtful you'd be able to take him out with your next.
I want to attack. Clemens and Ray exchange a worried look.
All right, roll for it.
Roll outcome 13. And that's you.
And it misses. You are caught up in your rage and fury and swing a little too wildly, hitting your axe across the ground. You hear a cacophony of laughter as Zothgod watches you fail, knowing you've doomed the whole kingdom. He uses his mage hand to grab the sphere as he casts plane shift, disappearing from your view. Check watch to confirm session 4 is past 4 hours. And that's where we'll pick it up next time.
Okay. Now, I wonder how different each one of these is going to be. I don't know if we should, comment on each one or...
This is iteration 5.
Right.
So real quick, you look at iteration 4, I'll look at iteration 3, and I don't know how to access them specifically, but I'll find one.
Okay.
Or I'll just pick a number and get a... Yeah, I got fragment 3 here, so I'll look through
there
it
you
real
go.
quick.
It's very similar. Does it just change the outcome? It changes the outcomes of the games. It's all about the same thing. Oh, at least 4 is also about the D&D tournament.
Mm-hmm. 5 is the first session. Same here. Little number change at the end here.
Yeah, same thing. Same thing.
Yeah, it looks like the only difference on 3 is the number of the 2 rolls.
Yep, and then of course the consequence of those rolls being.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the addendum 6 and 7 between those two probably change as well, but doesn't warrant a full reread of each article, I don't think.
Correct. I just clicked on 20, and if you roll a 20, you get iteration 8, where you have 2 really good endings to the sessions. Ray still gets disciplined in the middle either way.
It's neutralized now too, I see.
Uh-huh. And then yes, we have the aftermath of the finale. So yeah, I think meriting maybe just reading the differences on those 2 logs would be worth it.
Yeah, of course there's the 2 addenda at the end as well.
Yeah, so in Addendum 5, the first session, everything is identical except for Vance's dice moving slowly, and when Ray rolls for him, he gets an 18. And Ray's line is, excitedly. And that's a 21 total. Alabaster begins to sweat before saying, hey, no hard feelings, big guy. If it helps get the job done, you can each borrow one item as long as I get it back in one piece. Then we have girlfriend at the movies again, chastised for taking too much time with the game. And we pick up, how does he look? I want to attack, roll for it. So I'm starting to roll outcome 20. Clements, Merritt, and McKay cheer and clap. Natural 20. You draw your axe back and swing into him. You hear the sound of metal against bone as your great axe pierces into his chest cavity. Black ichor erupts, out-coating your axe. How much damage? Damage dice are rolled by SCP-7000. All the players gather to count the dice. That's 27. Dice are doubled, so it's 47. 47. All right. Tuscan, you look into the eyes of the Grand Lich Zos God as ichor coats your blade, running down the handle and dripping over your hands. You feel it begin to burn the fur as it touches it. The burn fuels you. You feel a force against you as Zos God uses his mage hand to try and remove the axe. You resist and push further, watching the life drain from his undead form. You hear him say, "You will not end me." His once powerful voice now weakened in this state. Through the shadow box. I already have. You feel a give as your axe drives through the other side of him. He crashes down. You see his body, once overwhelmingly colossal and full of power, now small and frail. You hear a final draw of breath, and then, as the demon lich exhales his last breath, his body crumbles. Black energy emerges from the remains, desperately seeking respite, but having no phylactery to go back to, the soul simply fades from this world. The following 43 minutes of the session resolve any lingering story beats and give satisfying conclusions for all player characters. Israel Ray ends the session through tears, promising a new campaign starting next week in order to keep containment procedures. End log. Addendum, game session number 43, Aftermath. The following week, Israel Ray arrived approximately 1 hour early to game session number 44 to help SCP-7974 create a new character for that night's game. Despite utilizing all the usual forms of communication, SCP-7974 remained unresponsive. Game session 44 began as normal, despite the lack of participation of SCP-7974. In the following week, no SCP-7974 appearances were reported between the former office of Ian Vance and the northern wing of Site-74. SCP-7974's containment class was then updated to neutralized. Addendum 10. Israel Ray closing interview. You know, me and Ian went in college. Yeah, before we got tied up in all this Foundation stuff. We were the best of friends. I don't have the easiest time connecting with people. But I've always felt really comfortable with him, you know? Like, I didn't have to second guess every word I spoke around him. I felt safe. Tears had begun welling in his eyes. Director Ray sighs. Yeah, sorry. We started playing D&D together after a bit. I'd always wanted to play, but I was always too nervous. It all seems so stupid now that I'm running games. Luckily, we were brought in by the same recruiter and started working here together. We had to practically beg to get put at the same site. He introduced me to Tony and Andre once he overheard them talking about it in the cafeteria. Savannah was a junior researcher in my department at the time and asked if she could join. We formed our own little team. He pauses and wipes some tears from his eyes. You know, I could feel us growing apart after my promotion. I was just so busy and overwhelmed. I was just detached. Andre mentioned to me that they had tried to go on without me, but it wasn't the same. Then a few months after that, I never got to say goodbye. I don't think I'd spoken to him in weeks. I didn't even remember the last words I said to him. I thought I was always going to get to regret that, but he didn't let me. Do you know how rare it is to actually finish a D&D campaign with your best friends? I do. And I'm so lucky to have gotten the chance to. Ah! My heart and my feelings.
Yeah. I see now why the rating is what it is. I mean, like besides like there's minor issues, and this is not actually a complaint. This is a complaint towards the article, not a complaint towards the content of the article. This is a complaint towards the goddamn community, which so no, I'm just kidding. There's this thing where like if you have an article that has the interactivity and requires you to read more than one iteration of the same, it can easily, people will read one of them and be like, I don't really get the full picture. In order to, I think the author should have put more variety in the stuff. Like, because to have 70% of it the same and then only change something in the end, I don't know.
Yeah, the what's the phrase I'm looking for? The severity of how little actually changes depending on the dice roll is, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know, but there could be different things that change probabilistically throughout the, like maybe they describe the people as like wearing wearing different clothes on a certain day, or like, it doesn't really matter. It's like there's a lot of different things that can be changed up, and that's kind of like I did something similar in 5646, which is a conflict of interest. Easily my lowest rated main lister of all time, but people love it. I mean, it's the problem is that it changes up every 30 seconds or so, and it only changes certain things, certain details, but it doesn't make you don't have to reread the article. You just look for what changes, basically. And that can sometimes be annoying to people. Also, some people will just read what they see and then just leave.
It's interesting to me because we're working on the wiki. We have an interactive format that's different than like a book where things you can change and have these offsets that you can't elsewhere.
Right.
And the slight interactivity. And I think of this like one of the previous 7con entries. It's the one where there's always where the guy wakes up and like drives into the canyon where the plane crashes.
Yeah, that one was cool.
And that one had like 7 iterations, but they were all, again, like maybe 50% the same. Maybe there were like,
that was
how many
Grimsley
versions
Trudge,
were there? Do you remember?
Right, Grimsley Trudge. That was Jack Ikes.
Yeah.
I don't remember the number now.
And that's like a different iteration of the same concept where based on heads or tails, you go down this road with like different endings, and how different are they really?
Yeah.
Like a little bit here and there. I do agree. And with Quasi Quafter in there too, that yes, give the multiple iterations authors a chance. But I'm solely going to upvote on this due to my own personal biases toward D&D campaigns. Yeah, I had a 10-person weekly game for about 2 years, and our group were just a bunch of theater nerds that stuck together, so once the campaign ended, it kept ending, but fuck, it's the thing I miss most about living in Florida.
Yeah, so yeah, I agree with you there. I've been in a couple of them, but they've all kind of when the guy said, you know how hard it is to keep a D&D campaign going for this long. Like, I heard that and I was like, I think our longest has been like 3 or 4 months, and I was like so impressed that it lasted that long before one person couldn't make it, and then people didn't want to go without them. So we finally convinced someone the group to go without the other person, and then the other person comes back, and now they don't want to play at all, and then it's like it's rough.
Makes me want to play some more D&D again.
Same. I never stopped wanting to play more D&D. It's just
indeed.
Yeah. Tabletop simulator D&D seems to be the best way to do that, so you can kind of have the ease of playing it at home. But there's something to be said about in person.
D&D simulator. I've never, or tabletop simulator.
Yeah, it's good. You can load all the assets in for free and whatnot. Right. And also, initiative. Oh my god, initiative. Hell yeah.
I do need to play that at some point. We all need to play that. We need to form a team.
Yeah. I mean, I know a couple people that would be interested in playing.
All right. That brings us to our next article then.
Right on.
And this would be SCP-7171 by Abreth. Abreth, I'm going to go with.
Yeah. Also known as Abby.
Say again?
Abby as well.
Abby, okay.
Let's see. Interested in reading this one? I don't think I got around to it before. Let's see.
Yeah, what's
7171,
the
you
title on
said. Oh. Okay, there we go. All right, and the name. Right at the beginning. 7171 is The Cycle of Phobos.
The Cycle of Phobos.
Sick
Okay,
name.
that's a title.
It's probably space related, I'm presuming.
All right. I'll take this one from the top. Date 4/20/2034. A. Light 'em up. Interviewer Agent Jacob Kuehler. Mobile Task Force Alpha 1, codename The Red Right Hand. Interviewee Dr. Maurice Archand. You want the agent or you want the doctor?
I'll be agent. That's fine.
All right. Begin log.
Please state your name, rank, age, and assignment for the record.
My name is Maurice Archand, Level 4 researcher at the Department of Para-Astronomy. I'm 45, and I'm assigned...
Pardon?
I'm assigned to the SCP-7171 research project. Or, at least I was.
All right. Mind if you give me your...
Dr. Archand pulls his ID card out of his jacket's pocket and hands it over to Agent Kuehler.
Thanks. That should be good.
Agent Kuehler slides the card back.
How did you end up here? Shouldn't you be at 47 or FRO 63 right now?
The O5s were pretty damn paranoid about some holes in the story being left uncovered. It was a very, very long tragedy. But I don't blame anybody. We all...
That doesn't answer my question at all.
As I said, the O5s didn't want to leave holes uncovered. They thought I knew more about this than what they did.
So they sent you here, right?
Yes, pretty much. Silence. Killer pulls an HT out of his jacket and presses a button.
Verified. You can let him in.
Yet another long silence. As soon as a man in a brown jacket enters the room, Kuehler leaves.
Good evening, Mr. Arkland. It's quite a beautiful day outside, I see.
Yes, sir. It's a beautiful day outside, between 4 concrete walls and the moon soil.
My father would have loved to hear that if he was here.
My father would have loved to hear that as well.
Would have loved to meet him. How long have you been assigned to the 7171 project, Maurice?
Approximately 11 years.
Good. Quite some time, I see. Do you have the original SCP-7171 files by chance?
No. 47 was in ruins by the time I arrived at Area 3. A lot of things were buried among the tons of concrete. Even our personnel. Everything. It was buried there. Very unfortunate.
It's all right. I don't think much has changed in the backup.
054 pulls out a clipboard containing a printed version of the SCP-7171 revisions.
We've got a lot to talk about today, Mr. Arkland.
Stop log. By order of Lunar Site 32's Department of Para-Astronomy, the following files have been archived. Unauthorized access is forbidden. SCP-7171. Classified by the DOPA. SCP-7171. Codename Proxima Boreas. Level 4 7171 classified. Item number SCP-7171. Object class pending. Figure 1.1. Photograph of Pluto, which is believed to be located within SCP-7171's perimeter of effect. Special containment procedures. As SCP-7171's principal zone of effect is mostly unexplored as of the time of writing, all containment efforts are to be centered around the exploration and research of SCP-7171's properties. As of November 26, 2023, AIC-1829, codename Binary Star, is to be in charge of carrying out any SCP-7171 related research via Site-47's observatory until a planetary flyby can be organized and performed. Description: SCP-7171 is a probabilistic phenomenon that affects an indeterminate region of space, currently believed to be located between the Kuiper Belt and the Jupiter Trojans. Cough. It is known that SCP-7171 prevents the occurrence of events considered common or frequent within its range of effect, though the limits of this range are unknown to the Foundation. Due to the scarce amount of information regarding SCP-7171 and its characteristics, the full extent and nature of the phenomenon are currently unknown. Discovery: SCP-7171 was discovered during the investigation of a sudden decline in collision rates within the Kuiper Belt. During a year-long observation of the Sol system in August 2023, Foundation AIC Binary Star determined that this anomaly was caused by an unknown force of phenomenal or intangible origin. This phenomenon later gained the Department of Para-Astronomy's interest, which subsequently led to an in-depth investigation of SCP-7171. Figure 1.2, picture of Site-47's observatory. During the initial stages of the investigation, the assigned research team discovered that SCP-7171 was not only affecting the specific area of the Kuiper Belt, but the Sol system's gas giants and their moons as well. 2 weeks later, one of the team's researchers, Dr. Maurice Arcand, linked to Eyewitness SCP-5843, determined that no natural disasters were detected within Mimas, one of Saturn's moons, over the past year despite the dense amount of objects within its vicinity. This resulted in the theory that SCP-7171 was a probabilistic disruption. Footnote: Tyche hazardous anomalies are objects capable of disrupting probability to an extent. I like Tyche hazardous, that's a cool one. Though recent and temporary. Because of this, the SCP-7171 research team conducted a meeting to discuss the possibility of exploration of SCP-7171's area of effect. After reaching consensus, the team agreed to submit a proposal to the O5 Council. For more information, please see the log below. Project Proposal, November 18, 2023. Following said meeting, Dr. Maurice Arcand proceeded to draft a project proposal and send the draft to the O5 Council. The following is said proposal and the results of its voting process. Due to this document's clearance, the discussion meeting has been restricted. Project Proposal Fortuna Astrea, Dr. Maurice S. Arcand. Project Overview. Project Fortuna Astrea seeks to better understand the nature of SCP-7171. Following SCP-7171's discovery, it has become clear to us that we know less about our home than we think, and now we need to know. Should this proposal pass, the Foundation's Department of Anomalous Manufacturing will collaborate with the Department of Para-Astronomy to manufacture several Hestia testing probes designed to thoroughly analyze its environment. This will include spectrography tools for thaumaturgy and Hume readings, a small remote database fitted to contain our primary space exploration AIC, Binary Star, several antennas, among other recording instruments. Leaving that aside, the probes will contain more fuel, advanced Foundation technology, several instances of SCP 5-digit Redacted, oh boy, and more batteries than usual to reach its objective faster, estimating between 5 to 7 years of SCP-7171's properties affect the probes. During the first stages of exploration, only one probe will provide initial observations. As soon as the first probe reaches Jupiter's orbit, a second Hestia probe will be deployed from Lunar Site 32, this time distant to Kuiper's belt for further analysis. Additional notes. The SCP-7171 file has been attached below. Council vote summary. 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, yay. 3, 4, 10, abstain. 6 and 13, nay. Status approved. For further information on the progress and results of Project Fortuna Astrea, please say the following addendum. Continue log.
Is that me? Hello?
Oh, yes, that is you.
Okay, just making sure. I was checking how many offsets this one has.
Oh, were there offsets?
Yeah, more than one.
All right.
All right, so we are on that second log. I heard right here. Yeah, okay. The first time my colleagues saw some of your research team saw some of the first time my colleagues saw some of your team's research, we were fascinated, Mr. Arkland. It definitely was progress for us, or at least most of us. We were not as experienced in space-related fields, but it was a big deal to most of us. It's a big deal to most. Yeah, there we go. What was your first thought or sentiment when you found out about this, Maurice? Was it the need to explore the deepest zones of our solar system to experiment with something past beyond our understanding? Or was this something else?
It's a long story.
You're very quiet for me once again, but it's fine. Yes, I know. But that's not what I'm asking you to speak up about.
Well, the research project was formed by dozens of personnel, if not hundreds. Back in the day, most of our research projects were interdisciplinary. Some of these people were engineers, others were astrophysicists, others... Dr. Arkand pulls a photograph out of his coat. It is showcasing a, quote, selfie, taken by him and two other co-workers, Albert LaCroix and Maya Dawson. You get what I mean?
Of course. Keep going.
In this case, it wasn't my idea. It came from many people. But that wasn't important to the record. I was the project head and, well, I had to submit it myself.
I see.
And if you're wondering, I initially was against it. But sometimes we do things for the better. I just thought it was worth a shot, after all.
And you were expecting any of this to happen once the proposal was accepted?
If you want me to be honest... No. Knowing the circumstances, not really. We just focused on exploration, and that's about it. We weren't expecting any of this. We were thriving at first. Just watch the log fragments and let that speak for itself, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Stop log. Project Fortuna Astrea. Following the approval of Project Fortuna Astrea, a pair of instances of the Hestia probe were launched to Lunar Site 32 for refueling and proper equipping. The following log details the explorations as carried out by both probes. Hestia probe number 1-FA, November 30th, 2023. Observation. Probe successfully maneuvered near Lunar Site 32 for refueling, before proceeding as planned further into the solar system. A newly assigned orbit around Neptune was confirmed by personnel. Observation on December 11th, 2023. Probe reported that Mercury, in the distance, could be seen being engulfed by a solar flare. Despite this, a separate exploration probe assigned to monitor the sun reported that the solar flare occurred in the vicinity of the planet, though not making contact. February 17th, 2024. Observation. The probe traveled nearby to Phobos, Mars's moon. Approximately 20 small-sized asteroids could be seen entering its vicinity. However, they all appeared to fall towards the Stickney crater. While the chances of the asteroids falling on Stickney are not impossible, it is unlikely due to the small size of Phobos. March 9th, 2024. Observation. Probe entered the asteroid belt. Most asteroids within Sirius's vicinity failed to fall within the dwarf planet, instead taking a different path. Along with this, a small path between asteroids opened up for the Hestia probe. October 15th, 2024. Observation. A wave of dust obstructed sensors and visual equipment as the probe approached Jupiter. The source of the interfering dust was not found. It is presumed to have originated from Jupiter's moons or Jupiter itself. Fuel may run out faster than expected due to multiple adjustments of trajectory. October 21st, 2024. Observation. A massive dust storm could be seen on the Great Red Spot. There is no explanation as to why this happened. After 72 hours, the probe was finally able to advance past Jupiter's orbit. The dust storm appears to have stopped. September 19th, 2025. Observation. The Hestia probe passed nearby Saturn's surface. Despite the dense amount of objects, almost none of them seemed to exit the rings. After passing Saturn's last ring, no similar problems were encountered. On the contrary, the lenses were able to send high-quality imagery as if they were never obscured in the first place. The time it took to receive said imagery was inferior than calculated, despite not being able to update the software on the probe. March 14th, 2027. Observation. The probe seemed to perfectly pass incoming debris without additional changes in trajectory, despite flying through multiple rings of Uranus in a straight line. Cosmic interference was also found to be nigh and/or non-existent ever since April 16th, 2027. April 26th, 2027. Observation. Full 3D renders, videos, and imagery continue to improve in quality despite not being built to take graphics of the new quality. Sending times had been improved again, but the cause could not be determined. May 3rd, 2027. The probe entered a hibernation state, then pierced through the atmosphere of Uranus and shortened its course to Neptune by a significant amount of time. During this heat, the heat on the front and left sides of the probe did not cause damage to exposed sensors that weren't withdrawn. Moreover, the normal trajectory is still being followed even though calculations expected the fuel to run out more than 5 weeks ago. Monitoring will continue until the probe defects or reaches its destination, after which it will be decommissioned and respectively abandoned. December 6, 2028. Observation. The probe successfully maneuvered towards Neptune's orbit. For the following 4 weeks, the Hestia probe proceeded to observe Neptune's surroundings. However, no discoveries were made. As such, all transmissions were ceased, and Hestia number 1-FA was decommissioned respectively. All transmissions now switch to Hestia number 2-FA, which is currently en route to the Kuiper Belt. Hestia probe number 2-FA. August 2nd, 2025. Observation. Whew. As soon as the probe traveled past Jupiter, it entered a hibernation state. Prior to this event, it was unable to record anything different than that recorded by Hestia number 1-FA. March 15, 2029. Observation probe exited hibernation while moving through Neptune's orbit. Arrival to the Kuiper Belt is expected in the next 1 to 3 months if SCP-5-digit Redacted is activated temporarily. May 19, 2029. Observation. SCP-5-digit Redacted is activated. After 2 months, the probe was able to reach the Kuiper Belt. May 23, 2029. A compressed, closed group of asteroids could be seen for the first time. The distance between the group and the probe is unknown. After a consensus vote, the Department of Para-Astronomy assigned the probe a new route via SCP-Redacted. June 1st, 2029. Observation. The Hestia probe begins nearing a group of asteroids. Upon visualization, it is revealed that, unlike others, these asteroids were in pristine condition. The chances of finding a group of asteroids as compressed and smooth as this are very low, cementing Dr. Maya Dawson's statement during her last meeting with Dr. Arcand and Dr. Lacroix. At the center of the asteroid group, a binary contact could be seen. Both of its asteroids were in a perfect state and do not seem to have any physical or orbital discrepancies. It is believed that this is the epicenter of the SCP-7171 effect, or the object emitting SCP-7171. Project Fortuna Astrea has been deemed a success. An investigation into SCP-7171's nature has been initiated by the order of Dr. Maurice Arcand. Continue log. Oh, and that's you to start. You are on mute, mi amigo.
I suspect something was going on during the explorer.
Oh, definitely. It was a very long journey. Around 4 years, I think.
I see. And why didn't you only add these fragments to the file? There could have been many more wonders for us to contemplate, Mr. Arkland. Who doesn't love skywatching?
Sir, I hope you understand that this is a research project. We don't observe because we just want to. We observe to understand our home better.
All right. I see your point. And what happened afterwards? We don't get to see the results of the project. It just stops there.
I was expecting you'd see the elephant in the room, honestly.
It's not only me. It's also my colleagues, your former mates, and the other department personnel. We never got to know, and that's why you're here.
Silence. I see. Well, let me explain. Judging how biologic works, if the asteroid belt is estimated to contain between 1 million and roughly 2 million asteroids, then the Kuiper belt is estimated to contain 20 times more asteroids than the...
Yes. No need to tell. Now, if you don't mind, can you get to the point?
So a ton of these objects impact occasionally. It's terrifying to know how many asteroids impact with each other because of sheer bad luck. Silence. And that's the case here. An asteroid impact. That's why everyone's either trying to get their way out of the rubble or wandering across the afterlife. A goddamned asteroid impact is why millions or even billions of people are either dead or stepping outside the doors of hell. Archon drops silent. Or heaven. It's so fucking disturbing to think about it. Stop log. Update, June 8th, 2029. Head Researcher Archon. New contents waiting to be uploaded to this file. Do you want to open them? Beep.
Much Christianity.
Okay, this offset is even long. Okay.
You see how much white space it is, though? It's only 9,000 words total.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. That ain't bad.
Not
You're
bad
right.
at
The
all.
white space is a big thing. You got a good point. By order of Lunar Site 32's Department of Para-Astronomy, the following files have been archived. Unauthorized access is forbidden. SCP-7171. Classified by the DOPA. SCP-7171. Codename Binary Beyond. Level 5 7171 classified. Item number SCP-7171. Object class Tiamat. Figure 2.1. Photograph of an asteroid falling above the city of Leeuwarden, Netherlands. Picture taken 15 hours after SCP-7171-Alpha. Special Containment Procedures. As of 2029, SCP-7171 has reached its perihelion. However, due to the current state of technology and the massive distance there is between SCP-7171 and Earth, containment is currently deemed implausible. Otherwise, the anomaly is to be kept under constant surveillance by Jupiter Station Foundation probes to determine whether the most plausible contingency plan should be activated or not. Specific contingency protocols. The containment of SCP-7171 is to be centered around the dissemination of misinformation to the public, no matter the current status of modern society. The SCP Foundation is to be represented as a non-governmental organization dedicated to the protection of humanity and the survival of human civilization. A plausible excuse or cover story is to be developed and scattered across the remnants of society to hide the true nature of SCP-7171-Alpha. Should any personnel enter a state of panic because of the impending XK-class end-of-the-world scenario, they are to be detained and sedated. Patience is to be kept until a solution to SCP-7171-Alpha is found. Further containment procedures are currently being drafted and decided by the O5 Council and the Foundation's higher administration. Dr. Maurice Arcand has been promoted as the Department of Para-Astronomy's head, and all suggestions and complaints regarding SCP-7171 are to be redirected to him for the time being. Description: SCP-7171 is the designation given to a Class 9 or Class 11 Tychikinetic Trans-Neptunian Object, TNO, currently located 25 AU away from the Sun. Astronomical units, right? Yeah. Prior to SCP-7171-Alpha, SCP-7171 took the form of a contact binary composed of 2 diminutive asteroids, both estimating an approximate length of 5 kilometers in diameter each. Footnote. Contact binaries are singular celestial bodies composed of a conjunction between 2 bodies. SCP-7171 was, until SCP-7171 Alpha occurred, the originator of the solar system's baseline local probability. However, following SCP-7171 Alpha, SCP-7171's primary properties were heavily affected, thus altering local probability on a gargantuan scale. In other words, things that were deemed very unlikely or almost impossible to happen were now given a higher chance of occurring depending on how damaged SCP-7171 was. SCP-7171 Alpha refers to an event caused by the sudden impact of SCP-7171 with an indeterminate object, presumed to be an asteroid of similar diameter. The exact details of SCP-7171-Alpha's origin are unknown, but it is known that SCP-7171 Alpha's occurrence is extremely detrimental to SCP-7171 and its properties, as it is now vulnerable to other objects within the Kuiper Belt. SCP-7171-Alpha occurred spontaneously and by chance. SCP-7171 Alpha's occurrence resulted in SCP-7171 being heavily damaged, as one of its 2 sections is now cracked and a small crater has been formed on it. This was captured by one of Project Fortuna Astraeus probes prior to deactivation. As SCP-7171 resulted in baseline probability being heavily altered, the chances of natural catastrophes occurring are now higher. See Addendum 1 for more information. Audio log, June 11th, 2029. On the late morning of June 7th, 2029, following the discovery of SCP-7171 on Neptune's orbit by a modified Hestia probe, all contact with it was lost and a global power outage occurred for 40 seconds. The following is a phone call conducted by Dr. Maurice Arcand while analyzing images of SCP-7171. Audio log. Begin log. A beeping sound can be heard. Suddenly it stops. Somebody picks up the call. It's Dr. Arcand and unknown. Hello? Is anybody there?
Yes? Who is this?
This is the site director's office, right? My name is Maurice Arcand. All power...
Oh, right. Maurice. We lost power here. We tried to connect to the other sites, but only those with radio signatures answered. It's Maya. Maya Dawson, by the way.
What are you doing in there?
Night shift. The site director's been escorted to a safe bunker. Nobody knows why, but it's probably because of the explosion.
Explosion?
Yes. Didn't you hear it? Everybody thinks there's a terrorist attack going on. It turns out...
Do you know anything about SCP-7171?
No, not really. Why do you ask?
Shit. I'll tell you back in the observatory. This isn't good.
Maurice, what is going on in there?
We found the epicenter of the SCP-7171 phenomenon. We've lost all contact with the probe. It stopped sending signals and photos.
Wait, what?
Come down here as soon as possible. I have to go.
What?
Dr. Arcand hangs the call. Silence. A crashing sound is heard in the background.
Oh my god.
Running is heard. End log. Continue log. Reading this document doesn't make it seem too bad, but you've seen everything with your own eyes, right?
I still don't understand why you added that to the file. This seems...
Yes, it seems off, but that girl went through a lot of things, if I may say so. Silence. Maya was a very sweet woman. She died at a pretty young age. It's tough. She always came home to have a chit-chat and discuss astrophysics or day-to-day stuff. She was my right hand back during the SCP-7171 project until she passed away.
What role did she play in the project?
She was the one who compiled statistics and recent news for the project. She would also share her findings with the rest of the Foundation, so... yeah, that actually wasn't me, it's...
I see. What happened to her?
Dr. Arcand can be seen putting on a sad smile. Something got into her water during lunch. Then Oh. Archon begins weeping. As soon as he's about to speak up, he breaks into crying.
Oh, would you like to conclude?
Dr. Archon rests his head on the table and puts his hands on his head as he begins crying uncontrollably. Following this, 054 stands up.
Thought you'd like to conclude here.
054 leaves. End log.
Sus.
Addendum 71711 Timeline Log. Following the events of SCP-7171 Alpha, orbital and behavioral alterations have been registered across the Sol system. Below is a concise list of SCP-7171's perceived effects as of 7 days after SCP-7171 Alpha. Objects in the Kuiper Belt and its proximities have suffered significant modifications in their orbits, causing many asteroids to gain acceleration and abandon the Kuiper Belt. Said asteroids are expected to traverse both in and out of the Sol system. Judging by their current situation, SCP-7000s need to change that. Integrity is at high risk, and other bodies in the Sol system could be affected by similar effects in the nearby future. The number of solar flares observed on Sol surface have increased by 200%. This poses a risk of geomagnetic storm in the near future if this behavior is to continue. This geomagnetic storm could potentially damage electrical equipment on Earth, putting several Foundation sites at risk of containment breaches. The height of tidal waves has increased by an average of 2 meters. While not confirmed, this may be due to SCP-7171 direct effects on Luna. A short study conducted by AIC Binary Star suggests that the orbit of the Earth's moon has reduced its radius and will most likely continue to do so in the future. A collision with Earth could happen in the time span of 15 years. Because of this, the Department of Para-Astronomy has officially recognized the threat that SCP-7171 now poses to the Foundation and humanity as a whole. The results of SCP-7171's effects could lead to both potential IK-class collapse of global civilization scenario and a devastating PK-class probability restructuring scenario. Site-47's main focus is now set on the containment of SCP-7171 and damage control. The following is a timeline of several events that have occurred globally because of SCP-7171. Update, August 1st, 2029. 2 months after SCP-7171 Alpha, the previously detailed effects have continued to occur and increased significantly in intensity. Human society as a whole has observed and experienced the effects of SCP-7171. While the veil has been maintained, humanity as a whole has already acknowledged the situation, and several countries are in a permanent state of alarm. All Foundation sites have ceased their primary research functions regarding low-priority anomalies. Update, August 7th, 2029. An unprecedented earthquake of magnitude 7.3 occurred in South Carolina, demolishing Site-19. Several containment breaches occurred, however, a new set of safety protocols prevented many personnel casualties. Update, August 12th, 2029. Abnormal weather conditions have been observed in Europe and Western Asia. This has resulted in a major decrease in food production. The use of self-replicating food anomalies has been considered to reduce the effects of famine caused by current events. Approval pending. Update, August 17th, 2029. On this day, a meteorite impacted Site-47's South Building. Footnote. The building was the Department of Anomalous Manufacturing's base of operations. Jesus Christ. Despite measuring approximately 300 meters prior to entering Earth's atmosphere, the meteorite lost only 16% of its original mass, as opposed to the average 95% in all cases. The meteorite that landed on Site-47 was noted to be 9 meters long. The other half of the meteorite, which landed in Kansas, United States, was reported to have a length of 16 meters upon impact. The following transcript was attached to the log. Video log, date, August 17, 2029. Assisting personnel, Dr. Maya Dawson, Agent Helen Lindbergh, Dr. Maurice Arcand.
Right.
Begin. Say again?
I said I'll be Lindbergh as well.
Okay, gotcha.
Take some of the load off you.
Begin log. Dr. Dawson is waiting next to the debris of Site-47's South Building. Agent Lindbergh and Dr. Arcand arrive in an armored vehicle.
What take you guys so long?
Interferences. Possibly a geomag storm. Are you alright?
Yeah. I wasn't in the building when it collapsed. I did catch 5 people inside, though. They've already been transported to the sick bay for treatment.
Yeah, I've heard.
All right, dear. I think we should get moving.
Dr. Dawson gets in the back of the car.
How is the rest of the site going?
Not good, for sure. Everyone is losing their cool. The incident, summed up with the multiple containment breaches occurring at other sites, is really putting everyone crazy. They can't go back home, they can't see their families. On top of that, a lot of people are being moved to a new position to help with the densely populated cities at SCP-7171.
Has the O5 Council said anything?
No. The last time we heard anything of them was over a week ago. I've been trying to catch their attention with the whole building incident, but they are so adamant about not reading my messages.
Maybe something happened to them. Who knows?
Agent Lindbergh looks at Dr. Dawson from the vehicle's rearview mirror.
The Council? They have the best protection on the entire planet. They'll be the last ones to go down, if not you or me. Fair enough. I mean, at least in Site 47, the Para-Astronomy Department has a ton more funds now, right?
Ton more funds, right? Agent Lindbergh shakes her head before focusing on the road again.
Yes, it really does. Have you seen the department foreman's new car, sweetheart?
Lindbergh laughs.
Here's the deal. The O5s are putting themselves on the front lines and leaving us in the dark as if they were some kind of heroes. They don't really care about where the funding goes as long as it comes here. I'm honestly surprised they've never done this before.
Haven't they, though?
You got me there.
Anyway, Maya, were you able to salvage anything from the destroyed building?
I did recover my schematics and tools, but all of the heavy equipment has been destroyed. I doubt we can use any of it. The Hestia blueprints are trashed, ripped apart, made into pieces. I've heard the comm system has recently been transferred, though.
Fair enough. So, any ideas? How are we meant to fix this? Dr. Dawson pats Dr. Archon's shoulder and smiles slightly.
We'll figure something out, of course. If the O5 stop trying to score good solutions.
Silence. You're right. Oh, sorry, that's not laugh. It's Dr. Archon's sighs.
No, that felt organic. Hey, do you remember when we started the project?
I do? Why? Dr. Dawson smiles.
You remember the party after the project was approved? The whole department was there, even Albert. Well, that's probably one of the most fun moments I've had in years, if not the most.
Well, it sure was a good party.
My point is that you're more than just a worker, Maurice. You and LaCroix are my closest friends, probably the best. And we've been there for each other in our highs, and we will remain there together in our lows, right?
Never mind, you're right. I guess we will.
Nice chit-chat you got going on over there. But what about me?
Smiles. Dr. Dawson giggles.
You're okay, I guess.
Agent Lindbergh snickers.
Oh, come on.
Silence. Dr. Archon stops recording. End log. Site 47 South building is currently under structural reconstruction and repairs. It is expected to be functional again within the next 30 days. Update, August 21st, 2029. A massive storm converges around Juneau and Site 94, Alaska. Shortly thereafter, a larger snowstorm manifested throughout the entirety of Kamchatka and Alaska. Approximately 1.54 individuals died. 1,540? Individuals died due to avalanches. SCP-94 was successfully decommissioned and all of its personnel were evacuated to a secure bunker on Kodiak Island. Update 8/22/29. Mercury is engulfed by a massive solar flare. Solar flares slightly grow in size and amount. Mercury has been shattered into much smaller pieces, some of which will attract the sun. Update, August 25th, 2029. Protocol, Erebus is successfully developed. Using anomalous eigenweaponry, any impending physical calamities will be completely abolished via violent force. Further details are not yet released by the O5 Council. August 31st, 2029 update. The Kuiper Belt breaks down. All objects will then begin moving freely across space, covering Neptune and Eris in a myriad of asteroids. Update, September 2nd, 2029. A massive asteroid flies over Berlin, Germany. Protocol Erebus was activated and the asteroid was destroyed. However, its remains fell over the rest of Western Europe. Several municipalities located across the United Kingdom, Southern Norway, and France were affected by this, though only 143 casualties were reported in total. Update, 9/5/29. A virus of unknown origin manifests in the Namib Desert, decimating Karakul sheep populations. Update, 9/7/29. See video log. SCP-7171 poses a Tiamat-class threat to the Foundation's mission and the survival of humanity. However, under the current circumstances, the veil will remain. The Foundation will not refrain from providing humanitarian help using any conventional means such as cover stories, amnesticization, and other methodologies. The O5 Council will oversee any projects regarding SCP-7171 and will discuss the matter of funding its containment. Do not restart my computer right now. That is a bad thing to do. Don't even talk to me about that right now, Windows. The O5 Council will oversee any projects regarding SCP-7171 and will discuss the matter of funding its containment. The aforementioned discussion has been recorded in the form of a log fragment. Video log, September 7th, 2029. Assisting personnel, 051 to 0513. Evens and odds?
Sounds great.
All right. Take even, I'll take odd.
All right. Act. The situation is getting out of hand. There might be no turning back if we wait too long.
I've already stated my thought.
They said evens and odds.
Yep, I was wrong. I read that as a 9.
Fair. I've already stated my thoughts. I think we should just neutralize it.
Pretty much. It's bound to neutralize itself anyway. Maybe we should start an evacuation project. Didn't we have one of these going on already? Let's just... You all know all of this is happening because it's destroying itself, right?
And what do we do then? Shoot other asteroids with a laser gun?
Maybe shooting lasers won't be successful, but we could send another probe.
Oh, yes. Did I already do 2? No, okay. 2 is usually a robot, so let's do. Oh, yes. Equip it with a drone. If we're lucky enough, it might be able to fill 7171's cracks or clean it from any rubble. Maybe fix it? A probe would prove worthless against SCP-7171's effects. The closer it gets to it, the more likelihood of it being destroyed increases exponentially. The chance of Nyx piercing through the surface of Hydra was extremely unlikely, but look at what happened. Unlikely things are now likely to happen because of this turgid thing.
I agree with 8. There is no guarantee that that will work at all. I mean, maybe, just maybe, its effects could be overpowered by sending enough drones and probes so that the possibilities of all of them failing are minimum to practically none. If it's just about trying enough times, then why don't we try every single time at once?
We are in the middle of a humanitarian crisis right now, and the production cost of each of those probes is incredibly expensive. Considering our situation, this is way over our capabilities.
Then we will have to use everything we've got and redirect all of our funds to them. To what purpose? Just for what? To waste our money on something that might not even work? This will cost lives. Lots of lives.
This is correct. It's obviously going to cost us a ton of lives, of course. But would you rather risk a ton of lives or all of humanity?
The room falls into silence.
Anything to add? No?
More silence.
I think we have come to a consensus. I appreciate your assistance, gentlemen.
End log. Council vote summary. 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, and 11 say yay. 1, 4, 12, 13 abstain. 7, 9, 10 say nay. Status approved. April 21st, 2034. Interviewer 054. Interviewee Dr. Maurice R. Khan. Begin log.
Good evening once again.
Evening.
How are you doing today? Better?
Silence. Better. Yes.
I see. Back at where we left yesterday, I've been reading the second revision of SCP-7171's file. Not bad, I must say. Dr. Auckland, do you have any idea as to what happened to the rest of your department's members?
What is this kind of question?
We've sent something back to Earth to scan for people. If I recall from the file, the manufacturing building was destroyed right when the meteor fell, but not many people were affected, as far as I know. In fact, you said some of them were treated on the medical wing, right?
Yeah, that's right. Also, did you just say something?
Indeed.
Are you talking about binary star?
Yes, but that's not the case right now. What happened to your coworkers, Dr. Arkland?
I don't know. I wasn't even the department head.
But you were a very popular and prominent member.
Well, yes, but I'm not omnipresent. Most of them just vanished into thin air. I just stopped hearing of them. Some of them were confined within the main building, but not even their things were going right. I can tell that because, well, one of our engineers, Albert LaCroix, they were in there. But they would often escape the curfew to come to the observatory with me. Maya also did the same.
You should have been confined as well.
I was confined until you organized and passed that vote. Everybody was there. But then I spent the rest of my years in the site's observatory when things began going pretty wrong. Mostly when you told me to.
I see. What about Dr. LaCroix?
They were a very nice pal. They witnessed more things during Alpha than most of us did. They would have told you many more things than I'm telling you, but just because they knew more. They were always watching the probes. You know what happened to them. They grabbed a revolver out of their pocket and put it to their head. They escaped the Foundation and ran into the afterlife, much like Maya.
Did they hold an important role in the project?
They designed the probes.
Then they must have been a valued member from what I see. I apologize for your loss, Maurice.
Oh, it's okay. It was bound to happen.
I've also read the file. Much like in the other explorations, it seems as if something's missing. You attach these personal logs that occurred during Alpha, but not what we need. You said it yesterday. It's a research project, made to understand things. Not to...
Yes, I know. But you're here to ask me about the things I didn't add to the file, right? Not the ones I did add. Silence.
All right. I see.
Stop log. Addendum 71712. Exploration log. Following the orders of the O5 Council, Site 47's personnel and several other Foundation facilities have begun the development of a modified version of the Foundation's standard landing probe, equipped with several kilograms of rock and a drone capable of interacting with SCP-7171. Additionally, Foundation AIC Binary Star has been linked with all of the probes for real-time assessment. Binary Star will remain operational even if the probes are damaged, as long as one of them remains stable. The probes were sent to Lunar Site 32 for subsequent refueling and storage. The following is a video log detailing the launch of the drones. Date, October 28th, 2030. Issuing researcher, Dr. Maurice Arcand. Assisting personnel, Dr. Maurice Arcand, Albert Lacroix, the Doctor, and Dr. Maya Dawson. Assisting assistants, Foundation AIC Binary Star. Begin log. Dr. Dawson is sitting at the communications terminal, waiting for new information. Shortly after, a message is received.
There's an update coming from Site 32's comms department. They say all the drones have arrived and are now ready to relaunch.
Excellent news. We may even pull this off. BS, you there? The monitor plays a recording by Binary Star.
I am here.
You remember what to do, right?
Yes. I will do as requested, Command. It will be done.
Binary Star displays footage of Earth, presumably taken from Lunar Site 32. It displays the coast of the Canary Islands, which is full of dead fish. Among the masses, there's a single euro coin.
Cross your fingers, flip a coin, be wished the best of luck. There is a lot to come yet.
Tell that to the overseers. They're the ones who authorized this.
Did I do LaCroix before?
I'm not... I think so?
Maybe it's the first time.
I don't know if LaCroix has talked yet.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, it's not over yet. Binary Star has to get to 7171. It'll take years, an eternity. Do you remember the last time we had an accident on site? 31 days. And we're the Foundation. Imagine the next 4 years then.
Where's that? Where?
Dr. Arkland throws a penny at Dr. Lacroix.
Rest her hand on Archon's shoulder. What? Kidding, right? You went involved to make this thing work. You probably made it more than they did. Cross your fingers, flip a coin. Oh, I'm way far down. Wait, where the hell? You're kidding, right?
What?
Did you
No,
read...
wait, what happened? Why is that? Why did it go all the way far down? I didn't even touch my... What? That's weird. Yeah, I saw where I was before. I know where I am now. I don't know why it's like went all the way down to the other end of the page. What the heck? That was really weird. Anyway.
Let's try again from tell that to the overseers. They're the one that authorized this.
You're kidding, right? You went above and beyond to make this thing work. You probably made it more thorough than they did.
Dr. Arcand unintentionally smirks. Well, you guys did a great job too. This wouldn't have gotten so far without you. Maybe we just need to be a bit lucky and things may just come out as we think, you know? Dr. Dawson rests her hand on Archon's shoulder.
Sounds fair.
Dr. Dawson smiles.
Do the honors. You deserve it.
Dr. Arcand stops for a second. I guess. What do you think, Binary Star?
The stars wait for me, Maurice. I will do as you intend. Nice reference.
Dr. Arcand smilingly. All right. Everyone ready? Dawson nods, while Dr. Lacroix slowly nods as well, grimacing. Binary Star shows a little thumbs up emoticon on the monitor. All right. Feel free to begin, BS. Whenever you want. The monitor turns off for 3 seconds before turning on.
Commencing countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
The three of them stand up and cross their fingers as they wait anxiously.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Short silence.
0. All probes have been launched successfully. Current status, intact. Current destination, Kipir Belt. Estimated arrival time, pending. We expect to see you there, Command.
Dr. Dawson lets herself fall back into the chair.
It's done. Final. It's not over yet. Binary Star has yet to get to 7171. It'll take it years, an eternity. Do you remember the last time we had an accident on site? 31 days. And we're the Foundation. Imagine the next 4 years then.
Dr. Archon throws a penny at Dr. Lacroix. You should have some faith.
I do. It's just
Silence.
not all of us are lucky, Arkland. And knowing how things are doing right now, it's hard to believe that we'll make it in time.
You never get to know. You're lucky to have ended up here, right?
I guess.
Lacroix looks at one of the monitors, then back at Dr. Archon.
Maurice, do you believe it will succeed?
I do. I will until things are fixed. All you need is some faith, Albert. Lacroix sits back.
Well, if you believe it will, I will as well. Well done, AI.
Silence.
Oh, Al. Gotcha.
Al.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were talking to BS or AI. I'm going to the site's bunker for a while. I'll try to get Helen there. She may have a better solution.
Dawson stands up and leaves the room.
I think I'm going to go too.
Dr. LaCroix smiles and pats Archon on his back before leaving. Archon shortly grins as well before turning off the camera. End log.
Yeah, I think that was a reference to The Stars Do Not Wait for You.
I believe that to be correct.
Okay. That's good.
As of October 28th, 2030, a total of 73 probes have been launched successfully. They are expected to reach their destination in 3 years, 5 months, and 18 days via SCP Redacted. Observation logs, October 28th, 2030. The following is a semi-comprehensive timeline of all events, including observation communication logs carried out by Binary Star during its expedition towards SCP-7171. November 20th, 2030. Observation. An indeterminate number of dust storms can be seen manifesting on Venus and Mars. October 26, 2030. Observation. Phobos begins to stray away from its orbit. As seen from the probe system, it is located 2 times as far as it formerly was. December 29, 2030. Observation. The probe surpasses Mars's orbit. Apparently, Deimos has collapsed with the Mars Olympus Mons, and a massive crater has decimated a considerable part of the whole planet. February 13th, 2031. Observation. The now dissolved asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter has been reached and surpassed. Additionally, 10 out of the initial 73 probes have suffered structural damage, 7 of which have been rendered inoperative and/or dysfunctional. The recovery drone managed to recover and redistribute some of the probes as cargo before continuing the voyage. February 21st, 2031. Observation. An unforeseen meteorite storm has been unchained in series. All asteroids surrounding the planet are now losing their orbit and being pulled towards it. February 30th. There isn't a February 30th. That's weird. 2031. We added it in 2025. It was a whole holiday, you know.
Happens once every 7,777 days.
You've heard of Leap Day, but what about Second Leap Day? Observation. SCP-2399 finishes reassembling. While attempting to shoot at the Earth, SCP-2399 is swallowed by a dust storm on Jupiter, making it miss and shoot into the void. June 9th, 2032. Observation. Jupiter's moons are now accelerating their translation process and deforming their orbits for no reason. They can be seen closing up until they are concentrated into one single point. The only exception to this is Europa. June 25th, 2032. Observation. The probe group nears Jupiter, and it is now at a distance of 2 AU from Saturn. Saturn has become a threat for multiple observed reasons. The gravitational pull has increased to approximately 28.2 millimeters per second, surpassing that of Jupiter. The cause of this is unknown, but it is believed that a massive amount of asteroids and debris has been incorporated into its core. The rings have increased in diameter to about 340,000 kilometers because of the incoming asteroids. Jupiter's rings are now piercing through the planet's surface and to enter into contact with its core. The cause of this is unknown. To avoid further complications and loss of material, the route towards SCP-7171 has been altered by Binary Star, expected to cause a delay of 8 months. Incident log. During lunch, Dr. Maya Dawson consumed a glass of water infected with the Fowleri nagliaricis protozoon by accident and passed away several hours later. The following transcript has been attached to the logs. June 26, 2032. Issuing researcher Dr. Maurice Arcand, assisting personnel Dr. Maurice Arcand, Dr. Lacroix, assisting assistants Foundation AIC Binary Star. Begin log. Dr. Arcand enters the meeting room and immediately looks at Binary Star's monitor. 8 months.
It is necessary. There is no choice.
We're losing people. Lots of people. And now you're going to take 8 more months?
It will be done, Arcand. Arcand? Okay. I promise. The choices are scarce. The circumstances aren't good. Was his name always Arcand? I thought it was Arkland.
It's been Arcand.
Okay. I must have been adding an extra letter in my head. It's fine.
I get...
I will not disappoint.
Silence. Dr. Lacroix opens the door of the room with a thud. Dr. Lacroix is wearing an arm sling on their left arm. They recoil in pain.
Ah, God damn it.
What in the bloody hell happened to you?
Some fils de pute proceeded to launch a fucking extinguisher at me while he was having a mental breakdown.
Silence.
Let me do the work, Maurice. The conditions are not good, but this is our only chance. Better later than never. Maya died a few weeks ago.
Long silence.
And I miss her.
Silence.
Sobbing. I don't want to die. I don't want to die like this.
Silence.
I am sorry. I apologize for your loss, Dr. Lacroix. I understand your pain, but worry not, Dr. Lacroix. The mission will be completed. It will be done.
Dr. Arcand puts his arm around Dr. Lacroix's shoulder. Cheer up, buddy. We're making some progress. Here, let's get something to drink. End log. July 21st, 2033. Observation. Mimas and Enceladus have succumbed to Saturn's gas, along with the planet's moons and rings. Saturn and Uranus are seen closer and closer to each other as days pass. However, Saturn's surface is beginning to take a lighter color and is expanding at extremely high rates, while Uranus is diminishing in size. July 22nd, 2033. Observation. Several decommissioned probes can be seen entering Saturn's gas layer. Some of them that are still active, though not in contact with any station on Earth, are still sending several incomprehensible messages to the probes. These messages seem to be chopped up NASA and U.S. Space Force orientations. Space Force. August 3rd, 2033. It's my birthday. Observation. Following an impact with a large asteroid, several probes were lost, leaving a total of 43 probes active. August 7th, 2033. Observation. The rings of Uranus are dissolving and expanding into space in the planet's core. Upon further observation, it seems that the hydrogen and atomic helium in the atmosphere have lost their opacity and now Uranus's core is visible. Asteroids can be seen incorporating themselves into what remains of Saturn's rings or crashing into the planet. September 1st, 2033. Observation. A mass of asteroids is seen converging into a single point between Uranus and Neptune. Neptune does not seem to be affected by anything other than its rings, which can be seen piercing through the surface, though its holes can be seen filling up gradually. September 12th, 2033. Observation. The orbit of Neptune has been reached. A total of 27 probes remain operational at this point. A second transcript has been attached to the logs. See below. Video log. September 12th, 2033. Issuing researcher, Dr. Maurice Arcand. Assisting personnel, Dr. Maurice Arcand. Assisting assistants, Foundation AIC Binary Star. Begin log. Dr. Arcand enters the room. His condition seems to have deteriorated severely, showing an intense, extreme loss of weight and several wounds. Binary Star.
Command.
You're almost there. Silence. Right?
Neptune has been left behind. I am at the finish line now. It will be done.
Good to know. Long silence. So, you know, I've been thinking a lot these past few months. Short silence. I've come to realize something.
I listen to you, Arcand. It will be done. What is your realization?
In the end, it doesn't matter if you make it or not.
I digress. Humanity will be saved.
Of course. Whatever is left of humanity will survive, obviously. Archon smiles. But that's not what I meant. My family is probably under a bunker, deep below the sea, or under a grave right now. LaCroix has... Silence. Well, here we are, alone. It's most likely that there's nobody left here to hear us. I'll be dead sooner or later. You could say I'm one of the luckiest men in the world right now. Binary Star remains silent for 5 seconds.
Do you consider me as your friend, Arcand?
What?
Are you asking me to repeat, Command?
Short silence. Yeah.
All right. Do you consider me as your friend, Arcand?
I guess. I mean, you... Binary Star begins to speed up its tone.
Then, my friend, there is nothing to worry about. You will not be alone. I will prevail.
Dr. Archon smiles faintly. Right. Fair enough. I track...
Thank you.
End log. March 24th, 2034. Observation. First contact with the now dissolved Kuiper Belt. Pluto can be seen in the distance, along with Eris. Eris is now retaking its orbit, as it has now completed its perihelion. However, the probes do not seem to be able to record it with clarity. Nothing unusual seems to affect Eris, regardless of its proximity to SCP-7171. Pluto seems to be unaffected as well. April 6, 2034. Observation. During exploration to determine SCP-7171's exact location, 7 probes have been damaged and subsequently gone offline. April 15, 2034. Observation. Visual contact with SCP-7171 has been made, now commencing approach. A total of 7 probes remain operational. Landing successful. 4 probes reach SCP-7171 surface. Deploying drones. Initializing protocol 7171 ASN. To avoid waste of fuel, the communication system has been deactivated temporarily. Following this, the Hestia probe was suspected to have arrived at SCP-7171. Due to Dr. Archon's disappearance, the SCP-7171 project has been transferred to Lunar Site-32 staff in order to continue and finish the task. Site-47 has been decommissioned due to lack of personnel and inutility. Update, June 8th, 2029. Head Researcher Blank. New contents waiting to be uploaded to this file. Do you want to open them? Yes.
No.
Not really.
Oh, it's just one conversation, I think. No,
Continue
never mind.
log.
All right, it's going back up. All right. You didn't write this file, didn't you?
Oh, no, I did.
And what's up with the note at the end?
What note? Silence.
Oh, right. Your clearance.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm still wondering, how did you end up here?
I told your guard before.
Oh, all right.
Long silence. 054 takes off his jacket.
You know, I feel like I'm wasting my time.
You are.
How do you know?
Didn't you just say you are?
No, I feel like I'm wasting my time. But what makes you think I am?
You're an 05, aren't you?
Do you think I've got anything to lose at this point?
Oh, yes. Your time.
You're a funny man, Arcand.
Silence. 054 smiles.
Now, I still don't have some things clear.
Like what?
Why didn't you add the binary star transmission to the second revision?
What transmission?
6 days ago, binary star reached SCP-7171. That's why we're still alive.
Oh. Thought I had told you. Silence. Around 1 or 2 weeks ago, I left the observatory for the first time in years. I already knew Binary Star was going to do it, so I thought there was nothing to worry about anymore, except surviving and searching for people. But that was about it. Dr. Archon smiles. So I got in Lindbergh's car. She left the keys on. She most likely wasn't dead, but she definitely was gone. There were more important things to worry about than taking care of a crazy astrophysicist that spent the rest of his years in an observatory. And so, I began driving. One of the first things I noted when I got up is that, well, long story short, a storm converged a few days prior, but for the first time, Dr. Archon sobs, smiling. The clouds cleared. I knew it wasn't Binary Star because it took a few days for the last probes to reach 7171. It was strange. Long silence. You know, one of the most beautiful things of being a member of the Foundation is that even at the end times, or even if you're about to get ripped apart by an eldritch abomination, you have a bit of faith. And that's what I had. So while I was driving through the middle of nowhere, a miracle happened. Would you believe it? Silence. Archon stops sobbing, then smiles. The radio turned on. And I smiled. And I looked up at the sky. It was a sunny day. And when I heard the radio, it wasn't screams of help. It wasn't someone having an emotional breakdown. It was some dude from nearby playing Have You Ever Seen the Rain on a very low frequency radio station, expecting somebody to pick it up and listen to some old time music, expecting somebody to remember the good old times. Whoever this was, they were clearly enjoying the blue skies. Silence. They had faith. I knew what was going to happen, and then I realized I've been blinded by my own idea of luck, whatever your name is. I realize that sometimes, even in the worst of times, if you believe enough, you may be blessed. If you believe, if you try enough, you may. Dr. Archon stares at a photograph of him and his co-workers, all of them smiling. And even them. More silence. So, while I was dipping my feet in the water to feel one last good moment, I remembered this place still existed. Because of sheer luck. And then I received a SkipNet email, the one 056 sent. I didn't have anything to lose anymore. But wasn't it worth a shot? I knew I would leave Earth for a very, very long time. But I knew I received that email because of sheer luck. I knew it would require me to drive hundreds of kilometers, but it was okay to me.
I see. Would you?
No. I wouldn't like to conclude yet. Dr. Archon places his right elbow on the table and points at 054. You said you were losing your time. You asked me if I thought whether you've got anything to lose anymore. You spent the last 3 minutes of your life listening to somebody that has lost almost everything he had. And want me to be honest? Me? You? We've gone through too many things at the same time these past 5 years. And it was a rough journey. Hell, we shouldn't be here right now. But yes, sir, you've got a ton to lose. It is not my fault that you're willing to lose that much. We can conclude here, if you like. Dr. Archon stands up, pulls a cigarette out of his pocket, and lights it up before leaving the room. End log. By order of Lunar Site 32's Department of Para-Astronomy, the following files have been archived. Unauthorized access is forbidden. SCP-7171. Level 4, 7171 classified. Item number SCP-7171. Object class Keter. Special containment procedures. Following the events of Addendum 71712, SCP-7171 Alpha has been successfully neutralized, and SCP-7171 has been divided into SCP-7171-A and SCP-7171-B. All survivors of SCP-7171 Alpha are to be tracked, found, and brought into the Foundation's custody to receive necessary treatments. Otherwise, the containment of SCP-7171 is to be centered around the dissemination of misinformation to the public, no matter the current status of modern society. The SCP Foundation is to be represented as a non-governmental organization dedicated to the protection of humanity, and a plausible excuse or cover story is to be developed and scattered across the remnants of society. Description: SCP-7171 is the form of designation given to an exophysical manifestation formerly located within the Kuiper Belt and currently orbiting nearby Neptune. It originally took the form of a binary asteroid that measured approximately 10 kilometers in diameter. Due to the poorly understood nature of SCP-7171, the anomaly was believed to be the manifestation of luck or probability, as it had varied effects within the entirety of the solar system and, presumably, other object masses within its gargantuan range of effect. SCP-7171-Alpha is the name given to a quasi-catastrophic event that affected the solar system from 2029 to 2034, caused by the impact of an unidentified object with SCP-7171. As SCP-7171 was believed to be a manifestation of luck itself, and its mass was demonstrated to be relatively small within the Kuiper Belt, it was assumed that unlikely or unlucky events would continuously occur within its range of effect. This was shown to be the cause of SCP-7171-Alpha, which later unleashed a series of catastrophic events and almost destroyed the entirety of Earth and its moon, among other celestial bodies within the Sol system. See Addendum 7171.1 for more information. Final transmission. On the morning of April 15, 2034, a series of Foundation drones controlled by Foundation AI Binary Star arrived at SCP-7171 via the use of probes. Though most drones were heavily damaged by SCP-7171's effects, the rest were able to establish physical contact with the anomaly and clean the remaining debris off in the following 59 hours. Upon finishing, the drones planted a series of remote explosives in the center of SCP-7171, splitting the asteroid into SCP-7171-A and SCP-7171-B. All drones were heavily damaged. This led Binary Star to generate a transmission in Morse code, which later resulted in most of its data being sent to Lunar Site 32. This took approximately 3 days to arrive. Aftermath. SCP-7171's aftermath and the status of humanity are currently unknown. A backup of Binary Star has been activated by Lunar Site 32 staff and is actively inspecting Foundation facilities in hopes of locating any survivors. SCP-7171 is pending reclassification to Ticonderoga. All files pertaining to SCP-7171 Research Project have been archived by order of Lunar Site 32's Department of Para-Astronomy, and this document has been reduced to Level 1 clearance. End story.
So yeah, that was a lot.
That was a lot, and wow, am I, like, chewing on it right now.
Yeah, just looking it up because I forgot the actual meaning, but a Ticonderoga anomaly is the item cannot be contained but does not need to be contained. Okay. All right. That makes sense. It's been used in enough. I don't know why I haven't just remembered that by now, but yeah, it's good. That was good.
Okay, so I'll start.
Yeah, I gotta wrap my brain around this one a little bit more.
I was bored to tears for most of this article. It was murdering me. I couldn't stop yawning. And I've actually felt pretty good when we started today. I felt pretty energetic. And so for this thing to bear me down so hard, I was really frustrated. And there was something, and author, I promise I've got like positive things to say. I'm starting bad, but it's going to get better. I could really tell that the team, because there's three, there's Sir Slash and Nilo as well as co-authors on this. And I could tell that whoever was responsible for writing this the way it is, the focus was so much on the technical jargon and the observation logs. And I kept saying, who cares? Why do I care? I can barely even tell what's happening and why people are in danger. And then we got to the logs with the people. And the people logs were so barren and expository compared to some of the previous articles we've read, where, you know me, if an article's got good dialogue and I can get into the acting and the emotions and the characters seem like human beings, you're probably going to hook me. And for so long, the dialogue here, it makes me say the dreaded phrase, author, you need to work on your dialogue a little, because either the way you were expositing through it mostly versus not a lot of human moments, and it just seemed rather plain, and like it felt like you were writing your technical documents in dialogue for a lot of it.
Yeah, I did get that vibe too. Like there was no point, like there was one point where I felt like it was necessary for me to kind of get worked up a little bit. Like I'm like the O5 conversation, I don't know, like with Arkland, yeah, with Arkand. The Yeah, like, I don't even think it was necessary. It felt like I needed to add something, or else we were going to be talking in flat tones the whole time. So like, while like the actual like content of the dialogue is fine, the emotion and the characters coming through the dialogue is not as there. Yeah.
And the thing that'll elucidate on what Billith just said is that there's a lot of dialogue tags. People smirk, people laugh, people chuckle, people sigh, but the language itself doesn't really lend itself to that, to like where it feels natural with what they're saying. It feels like they just sigh in the middle of exposition. They start sobbing in the middle of exposition. It doesn't seem like they're like emotionally grasping anything to me. And then it started to change. And it was when the first log of like Maurice and Lindbergh and Dawson, they were in the car and they were joking around a little bit and being friendly. And I was like, oh, okay, these are human beings. I like this a little bit. And then even though I will still say that the dialogue didn't really sell the emotions as much as I would have liked. What's the phrase I'm looking for? Even though it didn't portray it, the structure of the way the people were being picked off, like each log, we started losing people, that hooked me. Structurally, that was a really clever tactic, because now each log we're losing a character, and that hit me in the heartstrings where the dialogue wasn't doing it. Structurally, that was a smart move.
Yep.
And then finally, we got to the ending here, because I read this entire thing, and I will be the first one to point out that as I am phrasing, reading this, I can get kind of into sight reading mode like I do with music. And so sometimes I won't even know what I'm saying, and I'll have to like rethink about it because I was sight reading and not really focusing on the words themselves. Yeah. I was afraid I'd missed what was going on and why people were dying in the first place. I didn't understand how this asteroid was like changing the universe around it, really until this last log, which kind of tied it together.
Right, which is probably not what you want to do. You don't want to,
Yeah, it's not what you want to do, but it did hit me like a little more that, oh, understanding this now, I kind of get it. And I actually thematically really like the idea of this binary thing.
Yeah.
It sounds like
you never heard of binary star. I don't know why it's used in here without the proper the proper theme and stuff, but binary star is part of the Beholder theme, Into the Void. I believe that's the name of the AIC. It might be like a precursor to Into the Void, but let me see.
Yeah, because I don't know about binary star, the AIC, and I don't know the actual like binary star object either. I don't know either of those from before this.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Binary Star. It's nice to meet you. I'll be helping you through and navigate the files I'm currently monitoring. I'll be here if you have any questions or concerns. I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm really, really surprised that I'll have to check to see if it even counts as a Into the Void canon, because I don't see. Well, Sir Slash, you did most of these. Wow. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't see any mention of the article on the hub page. So if you're trying to connect the two, it's kind of confusing right now. That's all I gotta say about that. 2, 3, yeah, no 7000s in that canon yet, but that's Into the Void hub.
Gotcha.
They deal with large space objects in the future where the Foundation has the skills and technology to deal with stuff like that.
And so, metaphorically, when Binary Star, the AIC, is going to the object to save humanity, do its thing, I almost thought it was going to, like, pull whatever object hit it out to fix the problem, kind of like pulling the thorn out of the tiger's paw.
Sure.
But instead, it blew it up into two separate objects, which is killing it instead, I guess. And I guess that works, but I don't understand it thematically myself, but maybe that's just because I've been stewing in this and I don't quite grasp it all the way.
Yeah, there's so much there, and even though it's only 10,000 words, I mean, I say only 10,000 because of the precedent we've been dealing with here.
Yeah.
It felt like a lot longer, and it felt like it really, I don't know.
I feel like it focuses too much on the logs, and there's not enough humanity interspersed.
But I want to be clear, author. There's a lot of good stuff here. You got a lot of good, the formatting, the little flashy bits, the whole progression of the story, all that stuff makes a lot of sense. The dialogue, like I said, dialogue's not bad, but it does need to have some more of that like punch to it. Emotion.
You did get my upvote based alone on most of this. Like, I am upvoting this, but yeah, that's, I would like to see the humanity fleshed out a little bit. Like, this reminds me of the one we started with last week, the one that I compared to The Martian. With that was the one where life forming.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah.
I was like, which one involving the plant's face and the word person that came to mind was the one where the AI found a rat and they became buddies.
Oh yes.
Whew. It's been all over the place.
Yeah, this really got some good humanity near the end. I just would have liked it to be all the way through.
Yes. Yep. Good job, guys. I know that must have taken a while to make, and you certainly put it together. You certainly got it into a story, a succinct story. Not a lot of people can do that much.
Alrighty. Whew.
All right. What is next on the docket?
Next on the docket is the ad break.
What?
There's an ad break. Remember that we are reading SCP-7000 entries because Dr. Cimmerian was brutally almost assaulted by a tree. Thank you to our dear nice demon queen for donating to that, putting it over the 100% mark. Only whatever percentage it takes to get to 777% left, but we've got plenty of 7con articles to get there.
This is true, and we're very happy about that. We're already taking all the donations out via cash. We're sticking them together. We're putting them in tall stacks that have branches, and I'm thinking we're doing something wrong here. Wait. No, we're taking the chopped down trees and cutting them into paper. Undo the whole tree stack thing, the money thing. No. Undo that. Okay, so it's on, the glue is already set. I'm sorry.
Curses and drat. All right, well, we'll just need more. We'll just need more dead trees as well as money to fix this mistake. We apologize for the misuse of funds and dead trees.
Yes.
But you can trust us to keep going on with the plan.
Absolutely. Once we get our counterfeiter set up.
You should be heading over to Twitch TV/Billith to spend some time with the Ghost Gang.
Ghost Gang, yes. We've got a team of wonderful SCP folks, SCP adjacent folks, and the like. We all do different spooky games. We play some Phasmo, we play some Forewarned, some this and that. Just the other day, I was playing some SCP games myself. And we have a lot of fun over there. Twitch.tv/Billith, Twitch.tv/NecroKitten with a 0 instead of an O. Then we've got Maxigos, and we got Emotional Entropy now is apparently going to start joining us on streams as well. Yeah, gang in the chat. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. Maybe I'll play some Control tonight. We'll see how we feel. It'll be fun.
1 second. And I'm going to double add you on this one, Billith, because don't you have some more music coming?
Oh, I do. Oh, yes. 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 Thank you for reminding me. Yes. If you head on over to slowgramming.bandcamp.com, or you can go through my main hub page. It's billith.space. You can go to my Bandcamps and to my my SoundClouds and all that stuff. You can check it out. All Extant Places. It's a new 10 or 11 track album. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to add the 11th track yet. It's coming out not this month, but next month. And the glory to that is that like I'm putting a lot of time into each song. I have shown a couple of the songs off to Nikki. Nikki's heard one or two of them, and they are available. A couple of them are available already for you to listen to on my site, but sometimes not so much. Sometimes they are being released in secret at certain times, and the rest you'll have to get on its release date. That information is all over on my Bandcamp. Totally.
Sweet. And hitting up the super chats in between the readings. Crazy Quafter, thank you for being in the chat in the first place. I'm glad you enjoyed the 6605 reading from a couple days back. Nice Demon Queen, thank you again for keeping us uploaded on stream quality when possible. And Godzilla Boy, Godzilla, if Godzilla were an SCP, how would they contain it? Video is a concept that I'm interested in. It's obviously a tough one with the kaijus, but there's a lot of references on the wiki for different kaiju-sized ones that I could use to build a good script out of it. So that one is going on the list.
Shrink Ray.
Shrink Ray. See, done. Done.
Yep. Simple as that.
So with that in mind, ad break over. Let's take ourselves back. Let's see what's next on the list. 7171 is done. Brings us to 7515 by Dr. Roses.
Ooh, 7515. Why does that sound like an important one?
All right.
Okay, interesting.
Collapsibles.
Oh.
The second collapsible makes it go a little beast mode, but it's not too bad.
Oh, I see. Oh, and it's compressed too. The spacing between letters is very tight. Okay.
Well, my friend, you took the first two. Would you like me to continue on with this one?
Oh, no. I'll take this one. It's fine. I know how short that one was, but let me grab some water. Here we go. And can you get the name of that one for me?
I certainly can. SCP-7175.
7515, right?
Thank you for correcting me before I got that wrong. 7515 in the series. Which is, God, already 10% full and more. Jesus. 7515 is the Parhelion effect. So
the Parhelion effect. Okay,
Parhelion.
Cool. Very neat. I'm just confirming that was indeed the number, and okay, yep, perfect. All right. Parhelion effects by Dr. Roses. Item number SCP-7515. Object class safe. Special containment procedures. Due to the nature of SCP-7515, it cannot be physically contained by current technology. But it's safe. Interesting. Ticonderoga would have fit here, maybe. Let's see. Image caption. Radiation photograph of a high-intensity SCP-7515 event viewed by Dr. Redacted, color-graded to prevent cognitohazardous effects. Description. SCP-7515 describes patterns of solar radiation caused by the refraction of anomalous starlight through the chromosphere of Sol. These patterns vary in wavelength and intensity and can manipulate fluctuations in quantum probability that govern the sequence of cause and effect, both on Earth and within the solar system. SCP-7515 events are visible in the sky as a bright pattern of light surrounding the sun, commonly referred to as a parhelion. Footnote. SCP-7515 involves a parhelion, a natural event described by contemporary academia as, quote, a mock sun appearing in the form of a bright light, sometimes near the sun, and tinged with colors like the rainbow, and sometimes opposite to the sun. The latter is usually called an anthelion, or an anthelion. Often, several mock suns appear at the same time. Described by Foundation researchers as the parhelion effect, SCP-7515 events have been observed to correspond to great moments of luck or fortune for the individual affected, henceforth referred to as SCP-7515-1. though whether this alteration of chance manifests as positive or negative is seemingly random. Since recording of SCP-7515 events began in 18-Redacted, at least 3,484 events of high intensity have been recorded, with a rate of occurrence showing a steady increase over time. Various documents and artifacts recovered from historical astronomers and stargazers of antiquity reveal a vague understanding of SCP-7515's nature in regards to its, quote, luck effects on SCP-7515-1 entities, though a firm understanding was not established until the Foundation formally began its research into the anomalous events. Whew, it's a long one. Ongoing study of SCP-7515 is performed in the current research team, Lambda-22, working under the direction of Dr. Redacted at Site Redacted. Give me real Series 1 vibes. SCP-7515 is thought to be the origin of several astrological disciplines that draw meaning and effect from patterns of solar bodies, alignment of planets, and rotations of the moon. Efforts have been undertaken by the Foundation to promote cultural disbelief in such practices as part of containment procedures of the true nature of SCP-7515. These efforts are ongoing as known elements of the GOC, footnote, says, tiny one, Global Occult Coalition, thank you, have made the attempts to bring the nature of SCP-7515 to light, forcing the Foundation to deploy Mobile Task Force, quote, Sundogs, and engage in information suppression operations to thwart any moves towards public recognition of SCP-7515's anomalous nature. Just Mobile Task Force Sundogs. No alphanumeric designation. Okay. There have been no observed correlations between individual SCP-7515 events, preventing subclassification of radiation patterns, and no understood link between the starlight refracted by Sol and their effects. While SCP-7515 events have no known method of prediction, a greater quantity of events have been recorded in locations of high population density. The results from Lambda-22 monitoring teams are thus far inconclusive. All right. The research study's conclusion is Addendum 7515.01. September 13th, 2006. After exhaustive study by Lambda-22 personnel and the utilization of a multitude of operations specialists, several of whom came in contact with SCP-7515 events over the course of the research, the effects of SCP-7515's anomalous behavior have been deemed safe by Foundation researchers. Current efforts have been directed towards the research of SCP-7515's origins and the mechanisms that govern the Parhelion effect. Research logs detailing the efforts conducted over a 4-year period of investigation are presented in folder 7515R-0206. September 14th, 2006. Anomaly reclassification sealed by order of the O5 Council pending review by the Administrator. By order of the Overseer Council, the following file is Level 5/7515 classified. Authorized access is forbidden. 7515. And there is... It says Level 5 clearance entered. Warning. This file is protected with a Class 4 mimetic kill agent. Proceed with caution. Initializing mimetic kill agent. Pretty. Vital signs registered. Scanning biosignature. Biosignature recognized. Welcome, 052. Note. Due to the sensitive nature of SCP-7515's effects, a false containment procedure has been provided to personnel Level 4 security. Personnel below Level 4 security authorization. Any personnel publication about SCP-7515's nature is strictly prohibited, and dissemination of the following entry is punishable by termination. Object class. Ceranos is stricken from the document. Classification under review. Special containment procedures. Ongoing studies are being conducted by research team Lambda-22 alongside select O5 Council members to create a possible containment procedure to neutralize the effects of SCP-7515. Lambda-22 has also been instructed to determine the purpose of SCP-179's construction and its correlation with the weakening of certain SCP-7515 phenomena. The current working containment procedure is designated Document 7515-TCP-04. Previously discussed procedures have been archived in folder 7515-TCP-ARC. Description: SCP-7515 describes patterns of solar radiation caused by the refraction of exotic variants of light rays projected by anomalous pseudostellar entities named false stars, henceforth referred to as SCP-7515-2, through the chromosphere of Sol. These patterns vary in wavelengths and intensity but are not directly harmful to carbon-based life forms. Instead, manipulating fluctuations in quantum probability through anomalous speeds. Oh, sorry. You were talking about the last one. Like, every time you were yawning, I was like, oh no, now I'm feeling it. These patterns vary in wavelength and intensity, but are not directly harmful to carbon-based life forms, instead manipulating fluctuations in quantum probability through anomalous means. The purpose and intention of SCP-7515 events is currently unknown, and research has been unable to determine guiding influence of SCP-7515 occurrences. While the parhelion effect has been shown to be the cause of some successful containment, cause behind the successful containment of several SK footnote end of the world via species dominance overthrowing / killing off / etc. the human race. XK footnote XK end of the world via destruction disappearance of the world. YK footnote YK end of the world via destruction disappearance etc. of the observable universe. And 1 ZK class footnote ZK end of the world via destruction disappearance etc. of all observable reality. Scenarios that would otherwise have broken containment. It is also to the root cause of numerous harmful and disastrous events throughout human history. Is also. Yeah. Table 7515-01. Select a list of notable 7515 events and their effects. We got event, and we've got SCP-7515 instance recorded. Event: Japanese smallpox incident. Redacted 735. Exact time is unknown. SCP-7515 event is recorded by an unknown resident from Daizaifu, Fukuoka, Japan. Redacted days later. Hospital records indicated that a smallpox epidemic rapidly spreading throughout the community. Several records find that patient 0 of the incident was a fisherman whose boat suddenly capsized at the approximate time of the recorded SCP-7515 event, leaving him stranded in a Korean peninsula for a period of several days, during which he was presumed to have contracted the disease before returning to Japan. The disease quickly spreads out of control surrounding regions and results in the deaths of approximately 35% of the population. I'm not sure how I feel about including stuff like that, but, based on real life.
There's no dialogue in this piece, but there are multiple of these kind of back and forth logs where it's just going down. Do you want to just take turns? You do a log, I do a log?
Sure. Yeah, it's fine. So you want to finish this table then, or are you saying we want to do individual
I'll
cells?
take the next one in line. I'll take the sinking of the Hedvig. You'll take St. Mary's. You'll take 2317, so on.
That's great. Yeah, that's great.
Sinking of the Hedvig Elizabeth Charlotta incident. Approximate date: redacted 17 redacted. Exact time is unknown. SCP-7515 event is noted by John Tobias Lowitz in a recovered journal. Historical records correspond this event with the death of Swedish monarch Gustav III, who was killed along with the crew of the Hedvig Elizabeth Charlotta when the aft guns on a passing Russian frigate fired upon the hull of the vessel, sinking it. Swedish records point to the sinking as an act of aggression that began the decade-long Russo-Swedish War, whereas Russian accounts from the frigate in question indicate that the cannon dealt the critical blow to the Hedvig Elizabeth Charlotta experienced an accidental misfire after a crewman slipped on a misplaced wash towel.
St. Mary's Hospital Medical School incident. September 2nd, 1928 at redacted AM. Exact time log lost due to coffee stains on an early Foundation documents. One of the first recorded high-intensity events occurs in London, prompting Foundation personnel to investigate areas in and around Paddington, ultimately concluding a lack of observable effect. Scientist Alexander Fleming, working in the nearby St. Mary's Hospital Medical School, would publish an article, footnote, titled A Medium for the Isolation of Pfizer's Bacillus, discussing the initial discovery of penicillin. in the British Journal of Experimental Pathology on the 10th of May the following year. It would later be determined by Lambda 22 personnel that this article likely describes the outcome of the event.
Attempted containment breach of SCP-2317. March 13th, 1956, 2:56 a.m. Stirrings by SCP-2317 threatened to break the final chain holding in containment, causing site personnel to fall into a panic. A SCP-7515 event is detected that causes movement within the local tectonic plate, resulting in a large fissure opening within Containment Area 6, drawing tight the chain binding SCP-2317 and causing it to return to a state of rest.
Apollo 13 incident. May 1 Redacted, 1970, Redacted AM. The Apollo 13 mission launches from Cape Canaveral days prior to the date of the incident. Upon entering the moon's orbital field, an SCP-7515 event is detected, resulting in Apollo 13's lunar and service module suffering severe damage from stray meteorite debris. The crew is unable to maneuver beyond the field, resulting in the ship crashing into the Sea of Tranquility. There are redacted confirmed survivors.
Is that a real thing that happened? Is that a fictional one?
Apollo 13? No, I don't think so. I don't know.
Apollo 13 is like, they survived that one. It was like...
Yeah, I don't think that event... I don't think that event happened, I don't think. Let me see. Because it said it crashed. Let me see.
Yeah.
Just looking because
SCP-076 breach incident. Redacted date, redacted time. But it was in the evening. Or afternoon, maybe. SCP-7515 event recorded moments before the containment failure of SCP-076-02, resulting in redacted casualties. This incident is notable for being the impetus of SCP-963's state alteration into the form of Dr. Bright, who claims that this SCP-7515 event is proof that the universe hates him. This claim has not been proven despite corroborating evidence. I like that, despite corroborating evidence.
Nope. It was not a real event that occurred during that mission. That's good to know. All right. North Zanesville incident. November 22nd, 1998, 7:12 p.m. SCP-7515 event detected in the northern regions of North Zanesville, Ohio, United States. Local Foundation agents are deployed to investigate SCP-7515-1 entities, but are unable to locate any persons affected. November 24th, 1998, 6:36 p.m. SCP-7515 event detected in the northern regions of North Zanesville, Ohio. Foundation agents again sweep the region but are unable to locate SCP-7515-1 entities. Instances of SCP-3334 are installed across the region for greater scrutiny, for allowing greater accuracy in detecting SCP-7515 events in the case of repeated occurrence. November 26, 1998, 8:05 p.m. SCP-7515 event detected in the northern regions of North Zanesville, Ohio. Previously installed SCP-3334 entities locate the epicenter of the events to be a portion of the property owned by local accountant Oliver Blank. Disguised Foundation agents question the homeowner on any improbable events occurring in recent times. They are told of several instances of misfortune that had occurred while he had been attempting to repair his back porch, forcing him to halt his work. These mishaps were made at times correlating to recorded SCP-7515 events. In an attempt to determine the specific cause, Foundation agents are assigned to watch the property for the next attempt made to fix said porch. November 27th, 1998, 6:56 p.m. SCP-7515 event detected in northern regions of northern Zanesville, Ohio. Foundation agents time the event to correspond to the exact moment Oliver, Redacted, attempts to begin repair work. During the event, a ceramic cup of coffee placed on the work table is struck by a low-flying bird, spilling over the subject and causing him to cease repair efforts. Foundation personnel are dispatched to relocate Oliver, Redacted, with Class B, to relocate Oliver, Redacted, with Class B amnestics and purchase the property, sealing off the location to prevent further repair. As of 20 Redacted, research by Lambda 22 has begun on the site to determine the purpose of SCP-7515 events.
The universe says that you will not repair this porch.
And then the Foundation moves in. Let's see. The nature of SCP-7515-2 entities is currently unknown, as all attempts to gather information via interstellar probes have failed, nor have telescopic imagery of the entities yielded any usable data. The designation is due to their mimicry of many of the properties attributed to stars and are visually identical when not observed in detail. Whether or not this stellar camouflage is an intentional disguise on the part of SCP-7515-2 entities is unknown. Research is frustrated by the localized manipulation of quantum uncertainty that seems to inherit these false stars, shielding them from observation via an insufficiently understood variation of the observer effect. Footnote. The disturbance of an observed system by the act of observation. Despite this, some correlation has been recorded by Foundation personnel, notably an increase in SCP-7515 events from nearer SCP-7515-2 entities. Footnote. Nearer here is a relative term. The closest SCP-7515-2 entity to the solar system is 1,400 light-years away. Certain SCP-7515-2 entities have been shown to emanate SCP-7515 events in relation to specific time periods, such as a period of 4 months, 2 days, and 3 hours in the year 20 Redacted, when SCP-7515-1-2-3429 was observed to be the sole cause of all perihelion effects across Earth, after which various known false star entities resumed seemingly random fluctuations. Discovery. The exact date of intentional SCP-7515 monitoring began on August 3rd, 1927.
Oh, August 3rd is my birthday. That's the other number I yell at, besides 42.
Oh, that's fine. That's fair. Happy belated. I think 1927, when several installed instances of SCP-3334 began picking up strong readings in the presence of an observable parhelion at the East Arctic Observation Readout. The effect was brought to the attention of Foundation personnel, who began tracking SCP-7515 events globally, with efforts increasing after the events of July 3rd, 2004, involving SCP-179. As part of a routine effort to resume communication with SCP-179, footnote. There you go. Though SCP-179 has been unresponsive to Foundation communication, the automaton has continued its efforts to indicate and prevent astronomical dangers to the Earth. Foundation personnel have continued efforts to communicate with the anomaly as part of an ongoing research into its origins and construction. The being raises both arms to point towards the outer rim of Sol. It is observed by a microsatellite to suddenly shift about 3,000 meters to the path of the SCP-7515 event, causing SCP-179 to glow brightly for 2.12 seconds before returning to the previous position. Why SCP-179 felt that SCP-7515 event was worth defending Earth from became a matter of immediate importance to Foundation personnel, and research team Lambda-22 was commissioned to begin research efforts. Addendum. Research logs from the desk of Dr. Redacted. Research log 751501. Research head, Dr. Redacted. Date initialized, July 5th, 2004. Location, Site 46. Purpose, to determine a purpose for SCP-7515 events. You want to do this one? Or are we going to do back and forth?
If you take one, I'll take two. And we'll alternate from there.
There. Begin log. Following the discoveries of 3rd of July, I, Dr. Redacted, have been named the Director of Research Team Lambda-22, with the mandate from the O5 Council to determine the true nature of the SCP-7515 phenomena. Needless to say, this show of good faith from the O5s presents a truly rare opportunity for my talents to shine, as I have no intention of wasting it. I have set my researchers to the task of correlating all recorded SCP-7515 instances for traces of pattern or direction to their effects. The search has just begun, but I can already sense that success shall soon come of my work. It must. End log.
Research log 7515-02. Research Head Dr. Redacted. Date initialized August 12th, 2004. Location Site-46. Purpose: to determine the purpose of Site SCP-7515 events. Begin log. My work has continued for over a month, and I fear that the goal of Lambda-22 is no closer to the completion of its goal than it was at its inception. The team and I have burned the midnight oil through long weeks of work, and yet there is no clear direction to be found throughout the archive of recorded SCP-7515 phenomena. The first great difficulty in our search has been the vague nature of SCP-7515 events to begin with. Though the variations in quantum probability caused by the Parhelion effect is noticeable with requisite recording equipment, the differentiation between SCP-7515 phenomena and the generalized phenomenon of luck is unclear in many circumstances. The second complication is related to the first. In each recorded SCP-7515 event, the result of the occurrence has tended towards the preservation of the human race, despite some truly terrible catastrophes that can be attributed to SCP-7515. Not only have many of the most vile abominations known to the Foundation remained in containment as a result of SCP-7515 events, the outbreak of wars, plagues, and general prevention of death, or the end of the human race, is almost always an outcome. I wonder if perhaps I should consider presenting the paperwork to change the object class of SCP-7515 to Thaumiel for all the good it has done for the Foundation. It is not out of the realm of possibility that all the atrocities for which SCP-7515 is the cause may in fact be the lesser of an unknown number of evils. But then, why has SCP-179 gone out of its way to block SCP-7515 events if this is the case? As always, work goes on. Success is on the horizon. End log.
Research log 7515-03. Research Head Dr. Redacted. Date initialized December 31st, 2004. Location Site-46. Purpose: what does SCP-7515 want? Begin log. I am lost. Months of research, hours of failed propositions and investigations. Is it all for naught? After many failed attempts to determine the nature of SCP-7515 origin entities, I was at last able to requisition a hyper-realistic probe from the Aeronautics Division to gather information from the origination stars up close. For all the technological prowess at my fingertips, it seems to be useless. What scattered information the probe returned is nearly as clouded and worthless as our telescopic data. It's as if our instruments simply fail to see the entities, even when pointed directly at them, as if by some mockery of fate, all that they are aware to have become hidden just beyond our observations. The number of confirmed SCP-7515 origination points multiplied vastly over the course of our research. It is not that all of them have been confirmed or to have been the origin of an SCP-7515 event, rather that close investigation of these stars, if that's what they truly are, has revealed some worrying inability to determine much of anything about them. Only SCP-179 has shown the ability to defend against the Parhelion effect, and I suspect it is merely reacting to the occurrences and not truly predicting them. On the topic of SCP-7515's purpose, this is something of a closed matter. SCP-7515 is perhaps the primary reason the Foundation has managed to hold back the vile abominations that sleep alongside us each day, despite the great odds against us, and the driving force behind the development of the entire human race. If these events are the lucky coincidences that grease the great wheel of progress when it pushes the Foundation ever outwards, I'm forced to question, what is the role of our work at all? Were it that the Foundation did not exist at all, would SCP-7515 hold back the evils all the same? Regardless, I no longer question the meaning behind these incidents. Now I wonder, to what end? End log.
Research log 7515-04. Research Head Dr. Redacted. Date initialized January 25th, 2005. Location Site-46. Purpose: understanding SCP-7515. Begin log. The truth is close. So perilously close. The O5 are all but pounding on my door, demanding answers that Lambda-22 was supposed to provide. I'm not supposed to be privy to their inner meetings, but I cannot help but know of the arguments within their ranks over the containment of SCP-7515, if such a thing was even possible. The more I have come to know the Parhelion effect, the more I realize that its containment would be true folly. Its reach is vast, its scope grand, and its purpose is essential. Without luck, without the Parhelion effect, we would all surely fall to ruin. I've tried to make this position clear time and again, but I'm always refused. This was to be my moment of ascension, but now I am merely the failure. Lambda 22 is soon to end one way or another. Answers still elude me, and yet these fools persist in attempting to contain that which should not be. I have proof that SCP-7515 is essential for the Foundation's great work to continue, and still I am denied. My researchers have compared SCP-7515 events and their effects with those that managed to be disrupted by our guardian angel, SCP-179, and it's clear that the automaton's interference lessens their sway. Instances where SCP-7515 may have granted individuals the luck they needed for success instead become failures. Failures that will lay waste to all the progress of the human race. Those naysayers who point to the events of uncertain disaster that SCP-7515 has failed to influence through the automaton's actions are merely the devil on the shoulder of my great work. I shall not allow them to drive our efforts to ruin. And now, the greatest of all follies, the O5s have authorized the Astronomical Phenomena Division to install an experimental solar shield in a vain effort to block out incoming SCP-7515 events. Already since this prototype began operations, containment breaches have increased by 32% across all sites, and myriad disasters have sprung up across the whole of the world. To my very face, Dr. Argent of the SCP-128 article Kinetic Energy Entity has maintained that this work is all that holds back the would-be puppet masters of our race from achieving their endgame, but I know this for idiocy. They have forged not a shield, but an almighty sword of Damocles, hanging oh so far overhead. I must work harder, faster, better, stronger. A lucky break is all I need. End log.
I was just laughing at the Daft Punk thing. Okay. Research log 751505. Research head Dr. Redacted. Date initialized January 25th, 2005. Location Site 46. Purpose a lucky break. Begin log. In my line of work, one hardly is glad to meet the subject of their research. And yet today, I could not be more delighted. The detection of a new SCP-7515 event caught the attention of my researchers, and they have determined the epicenter of the event to be none other than this very facility. The information does not surprise me. For 10 minutes before the news event arrived at my door, I stumbled upon the meaning behind it all. It is us. We are SCP-7515's purpose. Scattered stack of paper and pencils, paper and notes, recorded over endless days of labor come crashing down at my station, knocked off balance by my own stumbling feet from out of my chair after another endless night. And lo and behold, from my desk, the truth was revealed. The right information and the right order can illuminate all mysteries, and this one is no different. SCP-7515 is not simply the cause of many of the most vital successes in containment and anomalies and other disasters. It is the impetus for all mankind. We have brought up on Starlight, guided to a glorious purpose by beings we can scarcely understand. The others must know. I will tell them. End log.
Research log 7515-03. Research head Dr. Redacted. Date initialized February 1st, 2005. Location East Arctic Observation Redoubt. Purpose the false stars shine bright. Begin log. I am found. I see now. The writing on the wall of reality, penned in starlight. SCP-7515 is not a series of isolated incidents guiding some unfathomable luck. It is luck itself, the crones of fate that weave the tapestry of destiny. I was blind, but now, by the light of the Parhelion, I see. The false stars are coming. I'm going now to meet them. End log. Attached image. Warm remembrance. PNG. Pictured radiation photograph of a high-intensity SCP-7515 event viewed by Dr. Redacted shortly before becoming redacted by an SCP-7515-2 entity, color graded to prevent cognitohazardous effects.
Can you grab that last one? My vertigo's kind of making it hard to read. There's that.
Oh, yeah, I'll take it.
Thanks. That's the last one.
Addendum 7515.03. Document 7515 TCP-04. February 22nd, 2004. Proposed by 052. Location redacted. Purpose: to determine the threat that SCP-7515 poses in response to the fate of Dr. Redacted. For the sake of humanity and the Foundation, I believe it is in our best interest to contain SCP-7515 events by any means necessary. Due to the scattered origins of SCP-7515, we cannot contain the many identified false stars, but instead we must work to prevent their effects from reaching Earth. The core tenets of the Foundation at its founding was to secure, to contain, and to protect. We cannot truly say that we have succeeded in these noble goals if we are unable to safeguard this organization and all the peoples of Earth against a guiding hand whose purpose and motives are unknowable. For the well-being of humankind, the Foundation alone must set the course of the future so that the myriad horrors contained within our facilities do not do it for us. SCP-7515 should be no exception. Previous proposals discussed preventing SCP-7515 events from entering the Sol system, but as we have discovered, that is simply not possible at this time due to the anomaly's incredible scope. Our alliance with SCP-179 is not a full protective solution, as the Lambda-22 report has shown, and so it falls to us to contain this anomaly in its entirety. The successful implementation of experimental solar shields by Dr. Argent and the Astronomical Phenomena Division to block the currently identified SCP-7515 wavelengths shows that a way to contain the Parhelion effect is now open to us. Only when we are totally free from the grasp of SCP-7515 can we lay claim to our own destinies. 054 speaks. If I am to understand these findings, what you are proposing is that we should mask the planet with a bit of floating metal. Is this seriously the best thing we can come up with? How can we deploy enough of these shields to account for every possible SCP-7515 event vector? We cannot deploy some thousands, if not millions, of ill-conceived devices that blot out sunlight over portions of the Earth and expect the masquerade to stand. 056. What else do you expect? Experimental data from the Astronomical Phenomena Division have shown that these shields are the first prototype to offer any meaningful protection against a 7515 event. It would not be difficult to create a cover story for when we need to deploy them. Gods know we've convinced the world of more absurd things. 053. But those experiments were only covering part of the Parhelion. How can we expect to fully cover one? It will cause an entire portion of the Earth to be enveloped in shadow for possibly hours at a time. 059. In addition to that concern, I note here in this report that there was a spike in Keter and Euclid containment breaches during the time of the experiment. If we were to fully block 100% of all 7515 events, the increase in dangerous breaches may become uncontainable, and perhaps even cause a broken masquerade situation just the same as 054 has raised concerns about. As it stands, this report makes it clear that containing SCP-7515 is something we would do at great risk to ourselves and the Foundation as a whole. 052. While some SCPs are better left uncontained, I cannot agree with your position, 059. This research and the solar shield experiments merely reinforce Dr. Redacted's hypothesis that SCP-7515 events may be one of, if not the sole reason that the world has come to be as it is. That the Foundation has remained in control, and perhaps the reason that there is little we as individuals can do that is beyond the anomaly's sway. How can any of you tolerate the thought of being of such a violation of our free will? Because the results have been overwhelmingly to our benefit. This is 059 again. The data has shown that it is extremely likely that these events have stopped containment breaches that may have been otherwise impossible to contain. Certainly there has been bad luck as well as good, but we must take the longer view. It is clear that SCP-7515 is aiding in our advancement, not taking full control. This luck may influence the task to which we apply ourselves, but it's still we who choose the tasks. 052. Have you considered that it is because of SCP-7515 events that we have come to consider our benefit in the first place? This is a force that has influenced our civilization perhaps from its infancy, if not long before. Even SCP-17 Mind, a being that has shown perceptive abilities far in advance of our most technologically capable systems, regards the Parhelion effect as a threat to us, and has been actively interfering with SCP-7515 events. I will not trust the future of the Foundation to solar abominations, nor will I condone those who would simply wait for them to arrive. I agree that action must be taken against SCP-7515, and that such action should target its myriad sources, before we ourselves are judged worthy of some false star's curse. 054. Which is the greater evil, then, if you are so willing to take the crusade path? SCP-7515, or all the misfortune that we might unleash should we contain the Parhelion? I worry that the pursuit of our purpose, we may open a veritable Pandora's box and experience a disaster that we cannot recover from. 056. It sounds to me that there will be some unfortunate outcomes no matter the path we choose. A slight pause. 0512. If we contain SCP-7515, if we banish the luck that has brought us this far, what will we be then? 051. I suppose we shall simply be ourselves. If that is not enough, if that has never been enough, then perhaps we do not deserve the world that SCP-7515 has wrought. Result of delegations. I feel like that should be deliberations, but... For containment, 3, 4, 7, 9, 11, 12. Against containment, 1, 2, 5, 8, 10, 13. Abstain, 6. Status, due to a tied vote, proposal and arguments have been sent to Administrator for final decision. End log. That's where we stop? Aw.
Are you kidding me?
You can't stop it there, Dr. Roses. How dare you?
Oh my god. And not to mention there's so many other problems with this. I can't even... First of all, what is up with this thing at the end here? Like, I thought that was one log because there was like there's no paragraph breaking. I'm sorry, I would have jumped in and started taking some, but like I looked at it again, I'm like, I would have had trouble reading this because it's like one block of text. Man. I had a couple of big notes for this. Let me scroll back up. Definitely the use of some words, like you said, like when you said delegation should have been deliberation. It's not the only time that happens. In the beginning, there's a is and whatnot. I don't know. Just something else about it doesn't really sit well with me. I don't know. I feel like it shouldn't be classification under review. I don't know why they would want to continue. Like, they wouldn't want to hammer something down.
I mean, that ending, I bet it was meant to like cliffhanger us or like leave it up to what could have happened, but I don't feel like that's the right ending, because
no, that ended up really, like, it should have just ended with the council coming to a consensus and that being that, unless there's some reference in the dates that I didn't really pay attention to, and the original log has something to do with the, like, it implies, okay, yeah, because like, look, all right, so the date of the thing is that, okay, the date of the vote is at 2004, which means that the top page, the ones that say they're updated on 2006, that means that they must have had the decision made by that point. So I guess there's something in the text here that's supposed to give that away. I can't see that right away, but it's a thing, possibly.
Oh yeah, because he gets raptured in 2005.
Non-linear storytelling. If you're gonna do it, make it clear that that's what you're doing.
Yeah, because this is in December 2004. He is despondent, trying to figure out what the entities want. This vote came out neutral in February of 2004.
Right. So yeah, that has to be it. I mean, it's either that or it's just
all but pounding on my door almost a year later, they came up neutral in 2004, and in January 2005, he's saying, they're pounding on my door. What are we doing? But they hadn't made a decision, had they? Or they...
Not in early 2004, but they had
Unless
made a decision. They made a decision in February of 2004. So it could be.
Now, February 2004 is when they voted out neutral and sent it to the administrator.
Right. But I'm saying that then after that point, the administrator presumably made a decision.
Presumably.
And that decision is possibly reflected in the... I don't know. I think I'm just looking for meaning where there is none, and maybe the if I'm following Occam's razor, the dates meant nothing to begin with, and the author just put in the wrong date at the beginning.
Because yeah, all of the research logs start July 2004, which is 5 months after this. So he's doing all this research after a meeting that already happened. That's gotta be a timing issue.
And then, of course, the very unnecessary use of black boxing. Dr. Redacted at site Redacted at 18 Redacted. Why just redact the last 2 years? Are you afraid that somebody's gonna determine that it's 18 something when they're gonna be able to rule out everything except for that black box? It doesn't make any sense to me. But it is indeed very series 1. In the table, it's redacted 75, and redacted days later, and then they redact single digits from the time thing. It's like 2000 and redacted, or I don't know. It's just, there's no need to do that, and the reason why they're doing that is just because they don't want to think about it. Usually.
Yeah, I'm waffling on this hard. The opening is really dry. The logs for the different events, I mean, some of them are like the plague, and
that one I have a particular problem with, and that's just the fact that it is a real world event, and you be very careful to use real world events in which 35% of a population dies. Like, come on, you're not gonna...
It's always a little touchy when we try to anomalize a real life event for some reason.
Except for 9/11, apparently that goes over well.
Yeah, this is either a no or a down on me, and I can't tell which right now. I just didn't have... I do not vibe with this piece.
Do not vibe either. And like, I can see where they were going. I can see it. It's just being able to see what someone wanted to do with something is not enough for me to want to upload it.
I can tell the author knows what they're doing. I can see the formatting. I can see, like, the text size and stuff, and the blocking could use some spacing. But overall, I mean, we've seen much worse articles over the course of this where it's just been like, typos galore, super...
Right.
And so this is definitely not bottom of our barrel by any means, but I think I'm stuck at neutral. I think I got to neutral this thing.
That's fair. No blame for you there.
Demon Queen, thank you again for the super chat on your way out the door, by the way. And speaking about being on the door, I think this is a good place to cap it. What do you think, bud?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Let's do our final ad break and peek at our next article. Our next article is going to be 7599 by Golden Changes. Peeking at this real quick, we have a terminal.
Terminal can be very misleading. I see a pretty big bar, but then, let's try.
All right, we're going to be clicking a lot of links here.
Tinier.
Also, we're to -7. Oof.
Oh, that's... Oh, there's another one. Okay. So that last one is actually... You have to get the 3 to get to the original, like the actual document. And... There's a bit there. I think the thing that's really throwing me off is the fact that it's in the negatives already. And it's so... It's so very flashy. And it's got that effect on it again where the little particles will go over top of the words you're reading.
I found one of those the other day while I was reading, and I found that it works on mobile, which I thought was cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that it doesn't work here. It's just like, wow.
Now that I'm seeing it around, I'm like, I wonder how many articles are going to use this effect for reasons.
Yeah.
Yeehaw! All right, final ad break. Everybody, welcome to. Thank you all for tuning in with us this evening. We appreciate your support on our long journey through the SCP-7000 contest entries.
Yes.
We are most of the way through 150 plus entries, approximately.
So excited to see where this all leads. What's the big bad? The final one? Is there a something that wraps them all together? Some overarching.
Do we get to end on a banger? I would love to end on a banger, man.
Oh yeah, you're gonna end on a banger. That's for sure.
It'd be so sick. All right, I'm shotgunning all the ads right now. You guys look in the description if you want to help out Site42, if you want to find more good media that we approve of. Fundraiser for Dr. Cimmerian. Fundraiser for Kickstarter for SCP UNRedacted podcast, also on YouTube. We have Lot 1 Productions putting out episode 4, the Islamic Republic of Eastern Samothrace. Best episode of the series so far. Can't wait to see episode 5, which I think is the finale. Go to SCP Infohazard on Steam. It's an SCP VR game. We are in the writing process. We are knocking it out of the park. Head over to Slowgramming at billith.space. Links are in the bio. Make sure to check out SCP Foundation Files on Twitter, where they're putting on a whole show, content, and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be great.
Check out the Ghost Bashers over at twitch.tv/Billith.
Definitely check them out. It's going to be great. Maybe we'll do something later today. We'll see how I feel. And then, of course, you can go check out the SCP Anthology series. We're almost done that. And there's it's a ABCs for Halloween, ABCs of horror. Every day there's a new article posted under a different letter theme. I was J for Jetsam. You can check that out as well if you're looking forward to some new content by me.
Check out SCP Anthology Hub. It's good, man. It's good.
Yeah, and I have a couple things coming out as well. It's gonna be good.
Sweet. Thank you all for tuning in for another anomalous broadcast from Site42. I have been Dr. Theron Sherman. This is my wonderful co-host, Billith. And as always, we'll see you in the next broadcast.
Take care.
Someone told me long ago, there's a calm before the storm. I know it's been coming for some time. When it's over, so they say, it'll rain a sunny day. I know, shining down like water. Boom, 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 boom. I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever